What is up, everyone? How's it going? How's it going? Gonna fix my camera. I changed the settings before. Didn't save, I didn't click apply. Zoomed in, now you can see my face. Let's hope the camera will actually work for once. Explain the soy cat and the I've had that chud cat for months. I've actually had I've had the little chud battle cat. I made that months ago, maybe even like over a year ago. I've had that forever. It's such a good image. I think it's my like profile picture on GitHub. The streamer not sick again. I'm still a little sick. I'm gonna be coughing, but I'm feeling a lot better. I'm feeling a lot better. Yeah, speaking of the devil. No, I will still be coughing. I will still be dying. But I'm better. I'm better. But yeah, today we're doing tier list. Subclass tier list. I did one. I kind of did like one of these a year ago with Loey as like a joke where we don't take any of it seriously and we just put everything in like random tiers because it was funny for like April Fools. But I want to do it seriously because I think it's quite interesting. I will say that the mindset for this isn't which. Maybe I should like write this on screen because I know some people will be like, will probably come in late and not understand. But this has nothing to do with power. This has absolutely nothing to do with power. I think putting things on a tier list based off of power is stupid. That's too dumb. This is just how much I enjoy the subclass, how much I enjoy operators in the subclass, how much I enjoy the subclass's ideas, the roles that they play, the unique, the potential for what a lot of the subclass could offer. Imagine camera working. Imagine. Well, imagine camera working. Do I have... Autofocus is on. Autofocus is always on. I need a donation goal to be like, get me a new camera. And they'll be forced to deal with like the blurriest fucking shit ever. What do you mean, Trapmaster, no SS here? Wang one-shots everyone. So fucking true. I don't think I'm going to be taking into account... I do have the CN only subclasses. But obviously I haven't used them. So... what do you want me to say about them? So I don't really know if we're going to be rating them. Because I can't. Maybe we will just based off of like the idea of the subclass, but I don't know. It feels quite disingenuous to be like, oh, well, this subclass seems really cool. We're getting fly slop subclasses. If you very cool, we fucking are. It's actually just ridiculous. Holy. I can't wait for Sky Guards. Sky Rushers. There's also 14 guard subclasses, just throwing that. Yeah, there fucking are. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, 14 counting mercenaries. Okay. But yeah, shall we get started, chat? Shall we get started? Not a lot of people here, but that's okay. That's okay. So, first things first, we got Corecasters. What's up, Jotun? What's up? We got Corecasters. Corecasters are... I think probably just fucking B tier. I don't know. How do you even rate a Corecaster? It's... Because I've... Every class, with the exception of Specialist, have, like, their generic class. Oh, what's up, Tobo? But core casters are, every class has like the generic like subclass. Like you have marksman, you have the core medics, you have like D-cell binders. There's just like this generic subclass that like every class has. I don't know what the fuck you want me like. Oh yeah, I was really excited to use a core caster today. It's like core casters don't exist as a subclass. They just kind of exist as individual operators. Like, we're looking at just the class or also the option in the class. This is how I feel. This is my vibes. Just how much I enjoy using the subclass, how much the subclass just makes me feel good. I don't know. Like, we're talking about kind of the design of the subclass, but also its execution and partially the potential of the subclass. It's also, again, want to re-clarify, nothing to do with power level. This shit has nothing to do with power level. But with core casters, as I was saying, a lot of core casters exist on their own. They can't really exist in a subclass. It's the most open-ended like class out there. Like, it's even more open-ended than marksman, so it's impossible to give it an actual rating. That's just not like Is fun factor a component too? Of course, yes. Splash casters. Okay, because I like splash casters.
Don't doubt your own judgment.
Thanks for the sub, M. I like core casters should be C because they're not really a class identity. That is true, but the thing is that I mean that is kind of true. Maybe I shouldn't move on. They do lack a class, but that's the thing, is that's the point. They're not supposed to have a class identity. They're very they're meant to be very open-ended. They're just kind of meant to be a miscellaneous, just single target casters.
Don't doubt your own judgment.
So I'm not sure how to really analyze it, because I like a lot of the core casters. That's the thing. Is it like Absinthe, Hulhiek, I like Caster Ami. I think Caster Ami is really underrated. Actually, I can just pull up the game. Let's look at the what are core casters that I like. Wait, sort by core caster. I love Connie Palat. I love Tamimi. She's so funny. Like, there's a lot of core casters that I do really like. Stewart is also the most based thing literally fucking ever. So it's like, I like a lot of the core casters. Again, it's very, because that's the thing. I can't judge core casters. You can only judge the operators that are core casters. And I think that so far, a lot of the core casters are pretty good. Obviously, you have some funny exceptions. You got shit like Logos. But I do think that they haven't, I don't know. To me, it's just middle of the road fine. I don't really know if I'd put them in C, because I don't see it in like a negative, lame kind of way. I enjoy what they've done with core casters. And so I don't know. I just feel it's very middle of the road. Because yeah, they do lack an identity. But I'm not like against that, as long as they can do something interesting with it. Splash casters. I like splash casters. That is one of my many hipster opinions. I like splash casters. I think that they can be quite cool. I wonder if I should just have like a little bit of Arknights just kind of open. I'll have like a there we go. I'll just have like a little Arknights tab open so I can like look at operators. I'm gonna actually move my emulator to the other window. But we do look at like splash casters. I'm a fan of splash casters. I do have all of the ones that I could have built, other than Marcel, because she's a 6-star. Because for the ones that I do use, it's like Lava the Purgatory. Centala I've recently got, she's pretty fun. I actually unironically used Gitano yesterday, trying to get footage for my Sideroka video. It was kind of funny. And I'm a Grey defender. I am a Grey defender. I think Grey is cool. I don't have Leonhardt. I don't even own Leonhardt. That's actually funny. But I do understand the complaints of splash casters and just them being very slow, very janky, and yeah, not having a lot of range. There's really no reason why they shouldn't have a lot of range. It's very weird that they have the range that they do for such a... Because that's the thing, is that a lot of the executions for splash casters... Oh yeah, I also don't have Skyfire. I just have no operators, holy. But, I do... For splash casters... Hello, Carcass. I'm getting distracted. Oh my gosh. For splash casters... it is definitely being held back by the innate kit of the Splashcaster as opposed to the actual executions of it. Because I do think a lot of the executions for Splashcasters are pretty good. Because even Lionheart and Skyfire, I do find them to be quite interesting. And so but yeah, it's also like, why do Splashcasters cost that much? You know what I mean? It's like, shouldn't the range decrease already be the innate downside? Why should, AoE is in it of itself an upside. Why do they attack significantly slower as well? Splashcasters just kind of suffered how strong Hypergriff, 100%, yes. It's, they attack slower, they have worse range, they cost significantly more. This fucking cameraman. They have all of these built-in downsides, and you don't need like half of them. Because Splashcasters, if you, like, because it's funny, because you do have the 2 Splashcaster modules, which fix 2 of these issues. Like, you have the X module gives extra range, you have the Y module, which reduces their cost. And it's like, if those were just naturally built into the subclass, then they would be fine. It just sucks that, yeah, you kind of need their module for them to really be that interesting. High cost, slow attack interval, small range, all for plus 100 attack. Yeah, exactly. It's like, I love the execution of a lot of Splashcasters. It's just, Hypergriff, yeah, I think they really underestimated. They overvalued what they actually were. And so I will, maybe I'll put them in, do I put them in high C or low B? Because the thing is that I can 100% understand the kind of design issues with the subclass, but at the same time, I love Splashcasters so much. They're so much fun. I love Lava. I want to make a slop video on Lava. She is so much fun. She's one of my favorite operators. And so I have so much fun with Splashcasters, so I don't even really know. I'm thinking low B. We'll put them below Corecasters, and probably they're going to be a lot lower once we do some more stuff. Silver Ash will make them a low cost. True. See, I think they just got gimped too hard compared to Corecasters. The thing, again, it's like, I enjoy Splashcasters more than I enjoy Corecasters. There's a lot of factors that go into this. This is purely on vibes. But, like, damn. I saw your Cytoka video, got furious, because my favorite is Steezy. I'm sorry, YouTube, man. You did a great video, but I just... No one likes Cytoka. Everyone likes Aesthesia and Amiya. Like, I have to be the only, like, Cytoka defender out there. Like, I'm her only soldier. Well, I'm not her only soldier, but I'm her only soldier when it comes to actually talking about her gameplay. Blastcasters. So is this just me rating how much I like using Aroma? I don't... How do I rate Blastcasters? So, I do like Corroserum. I haven't really used him that much. And Ifrit is like funny. And I'm really excited for Accord. Accord's gonna be really cool. What's up, Samosha? But I really do like Blastcasters, because when you can use them in the correct situation, they are absolutely fun. But they do have that kind of naturally built-in narrowness to them, which a lot of people may think is a downside. But I would say that as an upside. I enjoy operators that possess a kind of nicheness to them. Okay, I'm gonna fix this fucking... I know some of you guys like the blurriness, but I can't. I legitimately just can't handle it. I need a new camera. I'm never buying $20 camera from Walmart ever again. Narrowness, haha, I get it. Okay, haha. But Blastcasters do have a natural niche kind of narrowness to them. And I don't mind that. I do enjoy having these, like, weird-ass operators that have very specific niches that they're capable of kind of using. And I do think all of the Blastcasters are pretty well designed. I like Corroserum. I think he's kind of funny. I do kind of want to build him, but there's just some other stuff on my list that I kind of want before them. Only Blastcaster I ever used was Ifrit. She was very carried by her kit. I can't comment on Ifrit. I don't really know much about her. But, because, like, whenever I do use Aroma, I do find her quite fun. I do think she's cool. And sometimes just using her as, like, a true AoE caster even kind of works. And a lot of their kits are quite interesting. I think I'll just put them above Splashcasters. The issue is there's just not that many of them. Why is their attack speed even lower than Splashcasters? It's weird because I don't even really mind it that much. I've never really come to mind it as much as I would with like a Splashcaster. So I don't know. Again, it's because this isn't just AoE. This is true AoE. That's like built into their kit, being a natural true AoE like operator. And so it's the same. It's not slower, but yeah, even then, it's just very weird because I think Hypergriff kind of overvalues AoE probably a little bit, like that one guy was saying, but I don't know. Chaincasters. Chaincasters are fun. Who the fuck doesn't love Chaincasters? I think Chaincasters are kind of funny in being, I think a lot of people's... I kind of dislike Chaincasters because they make people not like Splashcasters. It's okay, it's time. There's a correct decision here, buddy. The thing is with Chaincasters, is that I do think to a lot of people, they kind of, they replace general AoE casters, and I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that a lot. Sometimes I will use Pudding, and she doesn't do shit when I need her to. So I think it's wrong when a lot of people just assume that like Splashcasters are just strictly better. But they do possess, they're more practical Splashcasters. Yeah. They have that extra range. They do have that kind of bit of slow in them, which doesn't always come into play, but it's just a nice thing to have. And typically from their kits, it's been kind of utilized, kind of cool. I like Ask Jen. I kind of want to, I want to build Ask Jen. She's definitely on like my to build. Pudding's S2 is so goddamn fun, like holy. And we undulate in this house. We're an undulation respecting family, of course. And I forgot what Lazy does. Wow, how cool. Okay. Okay, no wonder I forgot what she does. I'll put them in A tier. I think that's... Because I do think that chain stuff is just kind of fun in general. There's a lot of... You can just kind of hit a bunch of random fucking targets. I think that's kind of fun. Being able to kind of hit things outside of their range is an extra nice added utility to them. It's just like that natural, what the I can't talk. Oh my gosh. Just jeez. But, my God, my brain is like actually just fried. The natural mechanics of what makes a Chaincaster is just so naturally fun. I enjoy it. So yeah. Mechcasters. Hi, okay. The whole identity of a mechcaster is so nothing burger. Because I was just talking about Chaincasters for having such a cool innate trait, but Mechcasters just don't do anything. They don't do anything. What is a mech caster? Oh, they're a caster that has half the attack but hits twice. Like, I'm sorry, that's a nothing burger kind of like thing. It's not like Sword Masters where that actually plays into like defense mechanics. Because it's res and not defense, it doesn't fucking matter. The only difference it really makes is that bards scale really well with them. And so that's kind of the thing. They have ramping damage with every attack. I mean, kind of, not really. Like, kind of. But, like, is that really, like, some cool mechanic that really gives them their own, like, identity? Bards scale well with them. How? Explain. Well, because they do damage, like, twice. And so when you buff them with bards, it does damage twice. Because they attack with their mech and their normal attack. So a lot of the time, you just kind of use mech casters as a mech that hits twice. And so to me, a lot of hit twice, I was just going to say, like, you can use them in like hit count scenarios. But the thing is that the natural concept of their kit doesn't allow them to really explore cool design. It's not like an entirely new mechanic. It's just they have half attack, but attack twice every attack. So it's just like, okay. Now, again, I think the mech casters that I do build, where are they? Like, they're fun. I like minimalist. I'm a minimalist defender. I got Kiara recently. She's cool. Rock's fun. Ignore woman, but they're fun. They do, because that is also a weird part of their kit that, like, kind of, you have this lock-on feature that doesn't exist on other mech casters. It's only for click for me, so it's not really something that really plays into their archetype a lot of the time. And so a lot of their niche, yeah, but that's not every mech caster. Only some mech casters do that. And so if that was something that was more built into everyone's kit, then yeah. But that's not something that is their proper. I wish it was their identity. If anything, I would blame Hypergraph for that. But that isn't something that is naturally built into their mechanic. Kiara doesn't. Kiara does not. Because I don't believe she does. Releases drone. Okay, never mind. She fucking does. Never mind. I actually just don't even know what I'm talking about. I've only been using Kiara for her cold. All right, fucking never mind. Is it not part of their identity? It kind of is. I think everyone has that. Minimalist does not. Minimalist doesn't. But no, Kiara actually does, so I'm a liar. And I think Rock does. Yeah, releases drone. So maybe it is just me only using minimalist, so maybe that's my own fucking problem. But, yeah, weirdly, it should be part of their identity, but it isn't, so I don't get that. So, I don't know where I'd put them. Because for the mech, because I do like the lock-on mechanic, I just wish that was a bit more universal and not just tied to some skills sometimes. But because at least with minimalist, he leans into like the attacking twice kind of thing by attacking twice. So I do like them. I wouldn't put them in C. I'm thinking of putting them in B because I do like them. They, to me, are just like core casters. They just kind of lack, they lack a really cohesive identity that really makes them stick out mechanically. But for what we do have, they are quite interesting. If anything, I would put them above core casters because at least they have more of an identity than core casters, but they're not as jank as like blast or splash casters. I think that's my take. Oh, and yeah, I don't have an F tier because I don't hate any subclasses. And so for this, like, B is average. C is not average here, B is average. Because I don't know how I could hate a subclass. I think that would be... Listen, I'm a man-child, but I'm not that much of a man-child. Okay, where are we? We're at Phalanx Casters. Ooh, talk about fucking peak. Okay. Phalanx Casters are awesome. Again, it's one of those cases where this is a kind of design that you could only have in Arknights, where you can have a ranged tank. And I think that's such a cool concept. When they're not using their skill, they don't do anything, and they function as ranged tanks. And then you activate the skill, and then they're this cool AoE medic. This AoE caster. I think it's really cool. What kind of tier list maker is that? I'm using GIMP. I like making my own tier lists. I don't like using like apps. I'm literally just using GIMP. I love Phalanx casters as a concept, and I find it funny how we have so many 6-star Phalanx casters for whatever fucking reason. But I love Mint. I want to build Beeswax. I really do, and I think Lynn's kind of cool. I'm not 100% on board with her S1 being a state switch skill, but at least her attack speed is reduced, so there's still a downside to it. You're not encouraged to just AFK with her. But I think Phalanx casters mechanically are such a cool idea, and it's something you can only really get in Arknights. And there's a lot of mechanical depth to that, just having a ranged tank. And so maybe I'll put that above chain casters. Because again, it's those like really creative ideas that function really well in base execution that I think are some of the best. Is this Mystic Caster? This is Mystic Casters. Okay. I'm sorry, all the fucking icons look the same. Mystic Casters. Mystic Casters are cool. Lynn is amazing for AFK nights. You have no idea how well she works with Mountain, Thorns, Typhon, and Whisperain. I practically don't play the game. Yeah, I think that's how most people play the game, is with Mountain, Thorns, Typhon, and Lynn. Mystic Casters I really, really like, because it's another, again, as opposed to something like Mech Casters, where they kind of, these guys have a very, very strong identity that does lean into their playstyle very well. And I think it's really, really fun. It's a really satisfying kind of subclass, something you do have to kind of work around. They do have their upsides and their downsides that are built into the subclass. And so I think it's fun. I think it's really fucking fun. Like, Mystics are awesome. Like, I want to build Eben. I'm going to build fucking Eben eventually. Right now, I'm kind of fucking broke. But when I get the resources, I'm building Eben. Like, come on. Look at this fucking guy. Come on. But, I think... Do I put them above Phalanx Casters? Because Phalanx Casters to me are the more unique and creative design that, you know, the base of what they are, the base of what they are intrinsically is what leads to a lot of their really interesting and creative usage. But Mystic Casters is just significantly more fun. They can't Wharton shot, they feel a lot worse. Yeah, I don't care though. This isn't about power, this is about fun.
Thanks for your recognition.
Thanks for the follow.
But remember to tell me if there's anything I can improve on.
This is about being awesome. Thoughts on Indigo. What do you want me? What do you mean? They are equal. Both cast very well designed. Well, I can't make them equal. This is a tier list. I have to put things in a list. I can't. What do you mean? What's my thoughts on Indigo? Go listen to Silvergun. He'll tell you something that's actually interesting. Oh, enemy walk forward. I click Indigo S2. Now it no longer walk forward. Brain go burr. Like, I don't fuck. What do you want me to say? I think she's a pretty well designed caster. I'll tell you that. I think she's quite interesting, but I don't know. Dominant power sentiment. The power fantasy sort of falls off. They get outstatted. But that's the thing, is that if you're smart and you're a Giga Brain, like Giga Chad like me.
Thanks for your recognition. But remember to tell me if there's anything I can improve on.
Oh, got fucking distracted. Okay. What's next? What's next? Primal? Primal casters. Listen, chat. Listen, chat. Listen, chat. I'm Wormy's #1 fan. I love Wormy. She is so much fun. She is such an unbelievably fun operator. I don't even know if like that alone would make me want to put them in S tier. D tier. That is an L take. That is such an L take. Because I understand the whole... Because the thing is that a lot of the issues with... Hey, Bloop, I have a request. Can you talk about Sidoroka? Well, crazy, you asked that. I just uploaded a video where I talk about Sidoroka. Insane. But, the thing is that a lot of the issues with Primal Casters aren't actually built into aren't a problem with the kit. It's more with the distribution of Mystic Casters. It's more of an issue with the distribution of Primal Casters and how not everyone has access to both the Ritualist and the Primal Caster. That's less of an issue with their kits, because I think their kits are actually perfectly fine. I think what a lot of people kind of misunderstand about their S1s is that you're just supposed to use them like casters. If you're not using them with a Ritualist, they work perfectly fine as casters, because you're not supposed to rely on that elemental damage. You're just supposed to use them like core casters, and they kind of use elemental damage as sort of a reward for using them correctly. Because like Wormy's S1 doesn't do a lot of elemental damage if you're not using it against, if you're using it against an enemy with high res, much like how like a caster should be used against enemies with low res. And so normally they are just core casters if you don't use them with their Ritualist. But at the same time, they also do have the bit of like identity outside of being just a core caster, because they can hit multiple targets, which does give them some kind of use, some kind of identity outside of just being their own thing. What criteria are we ranking these on? My feels, just how much I like them. We're mainly talking about like design, more about like how much I like them, how well of a designed subclass I think they are, the execution, the potential design space that it allows for, what the role they kind of play in the game. Yeah, I think the thing is that I do understand the issues with Primal Casters, and I do think that if you do use them without a Ritualist, they're a little boring. They're not as fun as something like a Mystic Caster or a Phalanx Caster, so maybe I'll put them above Chain Casters. Because I do prefer using, like, Warmy to Pudding, if that makes any sense. So, yeah. I know Sadork is cool, but she feels like a standard Dreadnought to me. Then you're not using her right. Use her more. Learn how to use her, and then you feel awesome. Also, yeah, that's the point. Arts Guards and Dreadnoughts are two sides of the same coin. They're duelist subclasses. That's how they work. What is this? What is this goofy Mario music? Oh, it's from the KOB, like, anime show. Okay, Shapercasters. Oh, I fucking love Shapercasters. Issue is the Hypergriffs are providing synergy with half their kit is 4. Well, they do. Well, that's the thing, is that you can still use Warmy's S2. You can still use Diamante's S2 perfectly fine. You can still use them 100% on their own. They still do enough damage where it's useful on their own. You don't need that elemental damage. Because I think the biggest issue a lot of people have with Primal Casters is that they assume that Primal Casters are only meant for amplifying elemental damage, when that's not true. Primal Casters can be used to amplify elemental damage when you use them with the Ritualist, but on their own they're just casters, and you should just treat them like casters. And they function perfectly fine as casters. End of story. But I do agree that there is issues with the distribution of Ritualists and how it's not always accessible to... It's not accessible to use the extent of their kit. That's something I will criticize. But that's not the Primal Caster's fault. That's Hypergriff's fault for not giving accessible Ritualists. Shapercasters. S tier. I think Shapercasters are so much fucking fun. Would I say S tier? Maybe. I don't know, though. I don't know if I can say S tier. I don't think I can confidently say S tier, because I love Techno. Techno is such an amazingly fun operator. I really love the idea of the subclass being that you have this weak caster, and then as things die, the caster gets stronger and stronger because they get more summons, and now their skills are really, really strong. The thing is that they haven't shown that they really want to design more Shapercasters, because Nekras kind of aims to just be the easiest Shapercaster to use, and she takes away a lot of the more interesting elements of the ramp up of Shapercasters. And so it makes me hesitant that there even is a lot of potential design space for Shapercasters, because I don't know how else you can really design Shapers outside of just what Techno does. And so as much as I do really, really love the gameplay of Techno, I am weary on what kind of design space they have in store for Shapers. And so I'm really, really hesitant to put them in S tier, because I don't know if we're going to get any other really, really good Shapercasters, or any Shapercasters that explore a design space that Techno hasn't already. Because Techno has both of the things. It's like, okay, what would you use the, what would you use the, it's like, what would you use the summons for? Well, you can use them to block things, you can use them to chump things, you can use them to tank things, or you can use them for damage. And so it's like, okay, so what else can you really do with them? And so I'm curious to see what kind of Shapers that they want to do, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm very, very hesitant. I'm curious. I want to know. I just don't know what potential they really have. And so I think I'll put them high A, because I really love the idea. I think they're such a creative subclass that only exists for Ablana, but I do think that they are really, really cool, and I would love to see more. I just don't know what design space they can really cover, is what I'm more saying. Protectors. It's a B tier. I don't know what do you want me to say? Oh man, I love having a 3-block operator that sits there and tanks damage. Like, it's another one of those like core subclasses that mainly exist to exemplify the main, or a baseline subclass. That's what not always, but a baseline subclass, just something that kind of defines the class as a whole. Most protectors are 4-block. With module, yeah. What? Let me look at my protectors. Because I only have 2 that are 4-block. And I have the rest that are 3-block, so I don't... I'll take. Are you telling me Noir Corn is 4-block? What are you talking about? Don't they have the highest defense in the game? Yeah. Yeah. Well, not really, because... cement does. But I think that's a noticeable enough niche. Well, yeah, but I'm not talking about niche or power. I'm just talking about how interesting they are as a subclass. Like, it's B isn't bad. B is middle of the road. It's like, what do you want me to say about them? Again, it's the same thing with core casters. It's less to do. You can't. Protectors aren't innately an interesting subclass. It's what you do with. It's how you design a protector that makes it interesting. Protectors are just things that do damage. A bluish light. I fucking love this song. Lost boat in the ocean. I fucking love this song. Try to find a shore to breathe, to begin. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what you want me to say with them. It's like, sure, you could be like, oh, they have the highest defense in the game, and like that's a niche. It's like, yeah, but that has nothing to say with the design of them. They are just the baseline for the class, and so it's like, all right, it's not bad. They're not bad. It's just I don't know what the fuck to say about them. What's up next? Guardians? Guardians? Guardians are cool. I like Guardians. Guardians are cool. Because at least Guardians do have that a little bit extra to them. Obviously, because they're more of a branching subclass than just a default. But there's a lot of design space you can kind of work with Guardians, because they are going to be innately more based off of HP as opposed to defense. And so that's why you have operators like Baseline, who more focus on having a bunch of res rather than having a bunch of defense. Because... Because, you know, when your main gimmick is healing, having high effective HP is going to be really good. And so is really good against dealing with arts damage. And so that's going to be something you can kind of work with. I don't think I've ever really used a Guardian. Occasionally I might use a Guardian as like a melee tile medic, but very, very, very rarely. And I do think that sometimes you do have... I'm not a fan of like Shu, because she kind of replaces the idea of a medic. But you do have, again, I like the route that some Guardians do go into, that they try to be a bit more supportive in some cases. But a lot of the time, they can just be self-sustaining self-sustaining defenders. Like Gummy, the main reason why Gummy's really good is because she can self-sustain. She doesn't have that 50% HP threshold that someone like Neural does. And so she can keep herself at max HP rather than half HP. And so... there is some more diversity in how there is a bit more diversity in how the subclass kind of works, and there's a lot more that you can kind of design with it. And again, it's like Baseline and Hung. I think those are pretty well. I think they're pretty well designed operators. It's like it's hard to really like say anything about Neural, because it's like, you know, she's cool. She is a 5-star Guardian, like 100%. I'm not like super obsessed with them. Maybe high B. I'll put them high B. Do I like them more than mech casters? Yeah, definitely. I do definitely like them more than mech casters. Put them there. There we go. There we go. Hi, mech casters. Okay. Juggernauts. Okay, I don't really use Juggernauts. I have just Loot Nada. Juggernauts, I do think, are a very interesting subclass, because it presents the player with a problem, and they have this built-in sustain. You can't just use them to just destroy everything unless they're a 6-star. Then you totally heckin' could. But I've always enjoyed operators that have a built-in downside to them that you have to work around. And in this case, being Juggernauts, they have the quality of being able to self-sustain. They have the quality of being incredibly tanky. There's a lot of things about Juggernauts that I do think are interesting. And weirdly enough, they're not that offensive, as crazy as that is. But I do really like them. I do think that it's an interesting design space to kind of explore. I wish they'd explored a little more. Aren't we getting a new Juggernaut? I think we're getting a new Juggernaut. So, I'm not like... I like them. I like the idea, but I don't really use Juggernauts. I'm not really that excited to really use Fulkin. And I'll use Lutenat. I've Lutenata built because she's a 4-star and every 4-star built. So it's like... I don't know. I've never been in a case where I'm like, man, I really want to use a Juggernaut. I really enjoy using Juggernauts, and I really am excited to use them. They're a cool concept. I enjoy the idea that is presented in front of me. Perhaps if we had a bit more to them, I'd be a bit more excited. But actually, no. If I do remember, the new Juggernaut's quite interesting. They like heal after ability activation, and I remember being pretty excited for that. So maybe I think Juggernauts might actually be the lowest, because I do like. I do like Juggernauts. I'm actually kind of hesitant. I kind of want to put them in C, because personally, I'm not someone who really enjoys using Juggernauts because they're just very expensive. The self-sustain I do think is quite interesting. It's something you do have to play around. It's something that you can be very easily punished for using them. But I've never really felt excited to use a Juggernaut. I don't really pick Lutenata unless I specifically need her for a specific reason, like offensive recovery with Archetto. And so I don't really, I'm not really sure. Again, the new Juggernaut I think might change my mind on this, but in general, I've never been very like on board with Juggernauts. Next we have, this is Arts Protectors. Ooh, Arts Protectors. They used to be, this isn't your normal protectors. Arts Protectors. They used to be a stainless subclass. They used to be one of the pure ones. They used to be a pure, just golden subclass. Every operator is awesome. They used to be. Stainless subclass is Artificer. Correct, Lavos. That's a correct statement. Oh my god, why is my nose so itchy? Arts Protectors are an easy A. I don't really know, though, because it could be, again, an issue of me not really having many built. But I've never been super I've never been super excited with Arts Protectors, because they are, I mean, I guess you could say Fortresses are the most offensive, but I think that these are the most offensive. I think that it would be safe to say these are the most offensive defenders. But Fortresses are just kind of in their own thing, and we're going to talk about them in a second. Duelists are not really. Duelists are more defensive than I would say offensive, to be honest. Like, they can do a lot of damage, but I think that the main reason why you're using a duelist is because they're defensive. And so, because again, I do really like Churney. I do like Shalem. I do think they're very fun operators. And the natural identity of an Arts Protector is that they just do arts damage. Which, it doesn't lead it to a lot of, they don't have an extra little bit of substance to them. Like arts fighters do. Because the thing is that they are fun. I do like Shalem. I do like Asbestos. I do like Churney. They are fun. Hoshiguma Altar is really fun. I don't know if, I don't believe you though, because her S1 is an AFK skill and her S2 is an AFK skill where you do nothing. And she also is literally unkillable because she has 3 like health bars. Like, I refuse to believe that you can find fun out of just deploying what is essentially a Juggernaut that does arts damage. Shalem is very fun in IS. He is absolute garbage anywhere else. Is he though? Is he though? He's just... It's just Asbestos, but like, again. AFK units aren't very fun to play with. Yeah, that's what I mean. On high difficulty IS, everything hits way over her defense. So she does die. So she's fun when you use her in cases where there's actual challenge. Like, you could say that about any like busted 6-star. I think I'll put them above normal protectors because I do think that they are more interesting, more fun to use, just by nature. But I'm not really going to. I don't know if I'd say I enjoy them more than like Splashcasters, because I do enjoy Splashcasters. Like, I outwardly go out of my way to use Splashcasters. You know, I will outwardly go out of my way to use Splashcasters, but I will very rarely. Yeah, that's the thing. I just don't have them built, and that is just kind of a thing where it's just like I don't feel that excited about them. I don't really want to build them, but maybe it is my own thing. All right, next up is Duelists. I fucking love Duelists. I love Duelists so much. I think they're so cool. We stand cement in this house. This is a cement house. We love cement. I think Bloop is the least qualified to judge defenders. Probably, yeah. You don't love Duel. I love Aroma too. I love Aroma. Aroma is also cool. Aroma? Did I say Aroma? Aurora. I do. Is it? I mean, I do like Aroma too, but no, I do really like Aurora. I do think Aurora is really cool. I love me when I hate defense. Oh, that's what you mean. Because yeah, of course I would, yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Of course, all of the defenders are low because they have defense. Very clearly, 100%. But I really like duelists because again, it's that very intentional design behind them. You're supposed to use them to 1v1 certain enemies. And so I do really enjoy duelists for that regard. And I do really like Aurora. I think Aurora is really fun. I don't have Unectes built because 6 stars are yucky, like, of course. So I think I'll probably put them low A. I do understand, like, people's complaints with the whole, oh, but, like, SP doesn't work when blocking enemies. And to me, I don't really care, because the whole point of a duelist is that they're always supposed to be blocking an enemy. They're supposed to be blocking a single enemy, like, all the time. That's the goal of them. And so it shouldn't be a downside a lot of the time. But when you misuse them and you pretend that they're blocker, or you pretend that they're lane holders, then yeah. I mainly use Utage S1 and have her S1 full mastery. What does that say about me? Am I stupid? No, that means you like using Mushas, and you don't like using Utage not being a Musha. That just, you sound like you like Mushas. Like, congrats. You're correct. You're using Utage like she should be used. And not as this overpowered heli drop operator. Because I do wish that, because I think Aurora's talent is really, really interesting. Because you guys can kind of barely see it. But I think I really like Aurora's talent. Because it's a really cool application of... it's a really, really cool application of the downside of their trait. Where it's like, Aurora, while she's blocking someone, is going to... or while Aurora isn't... like, when her SP bar is empty, that basically means that she's just done with a fight. And so she's not going to attack, and she's just going to regain her HP so she can prepare for the next one. And since she won't gain any SP while she's not blocking anything, then she'll basically heal herself back up to full until the next, like, until the next conflict. And so I do think that it's a really cool way to utilize that talent. And I kind of wish that it was used on someone like Cement, rather than just kind of leaning into the trait rework. It's like, is Duelist module the same level stupid as Geek's rework? No, it's not that bad. Because I do think it is... It does make them strictly easier to use, yeah. But I don't really think that it's that big of a deal. Can I give you spoilers about sharpshooters? I'm going to sleep. Sharpshooters? You mean heavy shooters? Or Deadeye? What are you talking about? Which subclass are you talking about? Deadeyes or heavy shooters? Or marksman? What sniper subclass are you talking about? He means people who shoot the elite operator Sharp. Well, that's mean. Sharp's awesome, and he should be the next playable elite operator, and anyone who disagrees is just objectively wrong. But I do... Because, yeah, that's the thing with their module, is that I think that it's a very lame way of fixing a problem with their kits. Because to me, it's not a problem, it's just kind of a I wish they were easier to use thing. But it's not as offensive as the Geek thing, because the Geek thing actively, like, takes away a main downside of them. Where this is just, like... Yeah. You know, because it is so slow that it, like, barely makes that big of a difference. And it doesn't even with, like, Aurora's talent, she will still get back up to full HP before she reaches half SP, so it's not that big of a deal. Okay, who's up next? Are these sentries? These are sentries. Sentry time. Sentry. Sentries are awesome. I like sentries. Do I, though? I don't, do I? Counterpoint Pith, that wrong. Just still wrong. You can't just say a wrong answer and pretend that it's correct. Like, you realize Sharp reduces his defense to 0, right? Pith doesn't do that. Like, what are you talking about? It's ridiculous. The thing is, I'm not a huge fan of sentries. And a lot of it is just because a lot of the main reason why I enjoy an operator like Liskarm or Sanctum Exoperato is secondary, is kind of unrelated to them being a sentry, you know? I like Liskarm because of her talent, not because she's a sentry defender. I like Sanctum Exoperato because he's an absurdly well-designed operator, and every single one of his skills is really fun, and it does actually a really good job of playing into a subclass, so I can't even really complain for that. Underflow is cool. Well, I don't have much use with Underflow, so I can't really say it that much. Their module is funny. They get to reveal invis enemies that are like 2 tiles ahead of them, which, you know, sometimes works. But the thing is that none of that really comes in it. I should stop thinking about how much I like the subclass and more just how much I think it's designed. Because I do think that sentries as a subclass, sentinels or whatever, are kind of a nothing burger subclass design-wise. Because it's a defender that is slightly ranged. And that doesn't really give them anything. It gives them a tiny bit of offense, yeah, but that is something that already kind of exists with Arts Protectors. Now, of course, sentries obviously outdate Arts Protectors, obviously. But they don't fulfill the role as an offensive defender, unless you're Sanctum Exoperato, then you 100% fulfill that role. But even then, he doesn't always do that. He doesn't always fulfill the role of a sentry defender. Jessica and Underflow I like. I like Jessica too. But that's the thing, is I think that a lot of their kits feel like they could have just existed on a protector. Sometimes. It's very weird. Because the thing is that if you printed Sanctum Exoperato as a defender, he wouldn't make any sense because he's so offensive. If you printed him as an arts protector, it wouldn't make any sense because he wouldn't do arts damage. And so it's kind of weird. It's very weird because they are this kind of offensive yet defensive thing, but they're not super offensive where it's overwhelming. And it's something like with Jessica. I think Jessica's pretty well designed. Working about how well they're designed, or generally, it's kind of both. It's just kind of both. I don't know. Maybe I do actually kind of like them. Because it is so unique. Because they are an offensive defender, but never in an overwhelming regard. And they do think that Hypergriff has used the subclass. The natural identity of I guess that's the thing, is that the innate identity of sentry defenders isn't that... The innate identity of a sentry defender isn't what's interesting. Them being a ranged... like, protector doesn't fucking matter. But I think what makes them really interesting is that they have so much design space to them that you can properly make an offensive defender in a way that you can't really do with any other subclass. And so I think that although the innate properties of what makes a sentry defender isn't that interesting, it's the potential and what you can do with them that can be really interesting. And so it's like, I like Liscar. I mean, I don't really like Liskarm for her offense. I like her for her talent. But, like, Sanctum Exoperato, I think, to me, is proof that Sentry Protectors have some of the best potential for design space. Same thing with Jessica, where they can really focus on being both offensive and defensive, but never overwhelming in either regard. So I think I kind of want to put them in A tier now. Because I honestly think that, again, they lack that proper class identity, but the natural concept, it's more the concept of a sentry pretender that kind of carries them. Just the idea of, here's a somewhat offensive defender. And so I think A tier fits very well. Where would I put it among them? Do I like them more than defend? Why are they called Sentry Protector and not Sentry Defender? because they have 3 block. I don't fucking know. It doesn't matter. They protect sentries. They are not the sentry. They protect sentries. Do I like them more than duelists? I love the fuck out of Sanctum Exoperato. They have a bit of offensive part, like Underflow S2 or Liskarm S2 or Sanctum Exoperado's Tower Kit. And remember that Liskarm before the separation between normals, Descenders, and Sentry. Yeah. But yeah, it's like they can lean into being an offensive, pseudo-supportive kind of defender. I think there's a lot of cool design space for it. So I do like them. I think it might be Sanctum Exoperato carrying it. Do I like them more than Primal Casters? Probably not. Do I like them more than Chaincasters? I definitely like them more than Chaincasters. Now, I think Chaincasters might be below Duelist. I think Sentry might be above Duelist. I think that's fine. Because as much as I do find Duelists to be really, really fun innately, I do think that maybe I just need to unlock more Sentries. What other Sentries are there? Am I missing other Sentries? Is that literally... Is it just... Oh, Blitz. Oh, okay. Okay, so it's what I have plus Jessica and Blitz, but I don't even know what the fuck Blitz does, so let's just ignore that. Yeah, I completely forgot about Blitz. Alright, so now let's go to Fortresses. He stuns or something. You guys don't even know. Okay, I do really, really like Fortresses. Because it's, again, another very unique kind of thing that you can only really get in Arknights. It's like, what if we had a defender with a mortar? And they fulfill this very unique role of being the only super long range AoE thing that you can deploy on a melee tile. It's so unique. They're so unbelievably unique. I really, really like Fortresses. Ashlock Fire, I even think Horn's, fun to use. So I do love Fortresses. Fortresses are really fun. I'm definitely putting them in A tier. I'll put them above Chaincasters, but not as much as Duelists. I do think because often I will use a Fortress because I kind of need to. They're a lot more versatile, a lot more useful than Duelists, but I do think Duelists in general are a lot more satisfying and fun to use, I would say. What's next? Ooh, Primal Defenders. So just Philae. Okay, I like Primal Defenders. I don't think I'm going to put them in A tier. But I like the idea of a Primal Protector. Because unlike Arts Protectors, they actually have... because Arts Protectors are kind of a misnomer. They don't actually... they're not meant to be Arts tanks, with the exception of Cerny. They're not really meant to be Arts tanks. But Primal Protectors actually are, elemental tanks. You can look at Philae's S1. And I don't remember what Cairn does, and I definitely don't remember Use Kit. But you have, Philae's S1 actually makes her a pretty good tank against elemental damage. And I think that's and on top of that, you can also have her do elemental damage. And so I do think that that's such a cool idea. I also like Philae's S2 and how she gets a bonus if you're using her against a specific element, but, not always. I do really like them. I think they are a more interesting kind of Arts Protector in that kind of way. Well, Asbestos has more res. Yeah, but I don't really think just having res is enough of a reason to really use them as a tank. Because I think that, Baseline is definitely more designed to be is more efficient at being an Arts tank. Because they can heal themselves. And when you can heal yourself, that gives you more effective HP, which makes you just generally better against Arts damage, as opposed to just having res. Because res, that kind of sucks a lot of the time. Did you see the upcoming Artificer Nasty? I have, yes. We're not talking about that right now. We're talking about this. So, I think... Do I put them in the three amigos up here? Because I really do like Primal Defenders. Again, it's an issue of I've only really ever used Philae. But I do really, really like what Philae provides and the kind of the potential for the subclass. I don't know where I'd put them. Maybe low A? Maybe low A. Maybe low A. I do definitely like them more than Guardians, 100%. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Because I do genuinely get excited to use Philae. She is just actually fun. And that's kind of what the A tier is. It's like, I genuinely get excited to use it. Well, if that's the case, then Splashcasters I should put in A. But Splashcasters are held back by certain things, so, yeah. Next up are Dreadnoughts. Okay, alright. I fucking love Dreadnoughts. I love Dreadnoughts so much. They're so basic, they're so simple, but I think that they are the perfect example of what makes Arknights so great as a game. Legitimately, I think that Dreadnoughts are... If it wasn't for Dreadnoughts, Arknights would not be the game that it currently is. I will put them in high... No, actually, I'll put them in S tier. I will actually just put them in S tier, because I think that the identity of what a Dreadnought is core to what makes Arknights a good game. Legitimately. It's so funny because a lot of people will just kind of dismiss Dreadnoughts because it's just like, oh, they only have one block. They can't lane hold. Oh my gosh, I can't lane hold. When it's like, that's not the goal of them. No, I don't like him. Him? What are you guys talking about? Oh, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I love Dreadnoughts. And a huge part about that is that they kind of go against... I think they are definitely the first subclass that goes against the intrinsic idea of what a gacha game is supposed to just be. Where it's not... Arknights isn't just a game where you put down the largest thing and you have the largest statted thing just win the stage for you. That's not what Arknights is about. Arknights is a game about being surgical. It's a game about understanding enemy weaknesses, being able to counteract those kinds of things. And that's the innate property of Dreadnoughts. They are not meant to be just things that you put down in the lane and then you AFK and then they clear the stage for you. No. Dreadnoughts are, from the ground up, meant to be something that you play surgically. They're meant to be something to duel certain enemies. And they show a proper understanding of Hypergriff's, like, really, really strong game knowledge to be able to design a subclass like Dreadnoughts. I'm being 100% genuine here. Does Dreadnought have an identity since only defining just one block can do physical damage? Yes, they do have an identity. And that is having an absolute shit ton of HP. And having a shit ton of HP. And having a shit ton of HP. You aren't really a Dreadnought. Having even more of a shit ton of HP. And having a shit ton of HP, but for a 3-star. Flamebringer also has an absolute shit ton of HP. Skady also has an absolute shit ton of HP. It shows that Hypergriff does understand what the role that Dreadnoughts are supposed to do, and they design them in that regard. I do think it's very, very... I think it's very... It shows that they... what they wanted out of Arknights. And so, again, this is kind of a weird meta thing, but I do really enjoy using Dreadnoughts, because a lot of them are quite unique. I do enjoy using Morgan when she doesn't die in 2 hits. I do enjoy using Matoyi Maru an absolute shit ton. I have her at M6. Like, she's a crusher. She's a crusher with 1 block. Like, of course I love using fucking Matoyi Maru. I use Franka all the time. She's also awesome. Like, I really, really love Dreadnoughts, and I think that if it wasn't for Dreadnoughts, we would not have the same Arknights that we do. Because it would have been so easy to just make a guard subclass that just has 2 block and just kills everything. Flamebringer gets more and more HP with talent. Exactly, yeah. It's like, I love them. I love them. Alright, next up we have Centurions. I hate Centurions because they make they've coaxed people into not understanding crushers. This is personal. This is personal. There are human beings out there who think that Spectre is a genuine replacement for Quartz. That there are human beings out there walking among us that genuinely think that Spectre is a replacement for Quartz because her S2 does like a tiny bit more damage, except it also lasts 2 seconds and also stuns her and also sucks. So I do like Centurion. I'm not gonna. I do despise Centurions for causing people to misunderstand what a Crusher is. But I like Estelle. Estelle's awesome. I like Estelle more than Spectre. I do. I've been using Spectre, and I don't get the appeal. I really don't. Like, oh, she never dies. It's like, yeah, but like, she stuns herself. So what the fuck's the point? I use her, if I'm using Spectre, I'm using her for her, like, HP regen and her S1. I don't really use her for her S2. Her S2 doesn't do shit. Sometimes I'll use her S2 for the sake of the stun. Like, I like Estelle. Estelle's cool. Estelle's S2 has a significantly more interesting downside than just stunning her. I like Centurions. I think they're cool. I think I'll just put them in B, though. I don't like Centurions for existing before Crushers did, and Savage being thrown into them is the wrong archetype. Okay, Savage is a little important. Wait, does Blaze also have Power Strike? Huh. But I think Savage is quite interesting, because she's the only not 6-star Centurion that has a crit skill, and so, yeah. that alone makes it worth it. But Fuse is cool, though. He is. I like Fuse. I have him built. Yeah, I do. I like clicking his S1 and he just murders everything. I like how his S1 has infinite duration. I'll put him in B, though. I think definitely better than Arts Protectors. I will put them maybe below Splashcasters. 100%. Varkaris crit skill. Well, he doesn't exist yet, so... All right, next up are Lords. Okay, it took me a second. I had to read my notes. Lords. The most overrated fucking subclass ever. Holy. Okay, no, that's a little mean. No, I like Lords. I just never get excited to use them, if that makes any sense. It's just like they are ranged guards. They're the guard, if that makes any sense. I've never been like ever excited to use Lords, and a lot of the time I more just kind of use them because they do arts damage. Like I'll use Arene for that purpose. Like my favorite Lord will always be Frostleaf because she does the most interesting with the subclass, even if she doesn't do it very well. And I do like Leto. I actually really do like Leto. Because she's the only... Literally, what's funny about Leto is that her identity as an operator is that she's the only Lord that doesn't do arts damage. And that's an upside sometimes. And so... she attacks... she attacks very, very fast and doesn't do arts damage. And that's what makes Leto Leto. And I love her for that. I love Leto. She's funny. But yeah, that's kind of the thing with Lords is that... There's cool ideas that you can do with it, but at the end of the day, they're just ranged guards, and because of that, they're just very basic. They're not really something I feel excited for. Again, it's weird, because Frostleaf to me is the most exciting, Lord. Maybe high C. Actually, maybe low C. Maybe Lords are the lowest. This isn't to say that Lords are bad. They're obviously fucking not. That's not what I'm saying. But... to me, I don't really find Lords to be that exciting of a subclass. They just kind of feel like generic good stuff, if that makes any sense. A lot of their identity is that they do ranged attacks, they do arts damage, and they hit multiple targets. And you kind of see that in a lot of them. Like, Arene's S2 is kind of the same as Leto's S2, which is kind of the same as Lapland's S2. And although there are intrinsic differences in those S2s, like Leto doesn't do arts damage. You can't really control the activation of Lapland's S2. There's not that much creative diversity among Lords, and I don't think there's really much potential you can really work with the subclass. And I think that kind of harms it, because there's not... Generic is like Corecaster. I don't think... No, because the thing is that Corecasters are a lot more open-ended than something like Lords, because I feel like Lords weirdly restrict themselves. Because again, Lapland's S2 is kind of the same as Arene's S2, which is kind of the same as Leto's S2. And so I'm not a huge fan of Lords. I get it. I will use them when I want to use them, of course. I'm not calling them a bad subclass. They're definitely a good subclass when it comes to versatility and usability. But when it comes to how they impact the game, how much I enjoy using them, I more just use them purely for utility as opposed to me really, really enjoying using them. They don't really present that interesting of ideas. Meanwhile, the exact opposite. You shouldn't think of Lords as a generic class. They're much more of a subclass rather than a base class like Protectors or Core. That's not what I mean. I don't think that no, Dreadnoughts are like the default class for guards. Weirdly, I think it's like, the guard identity just isn't that, you can't do that much with it. That's more my complaint. I think Lado synergy is secondary. It's more for funsies, because when you look at her buff, it's amazing. If she, yeah, exactly. That's why I built Lado, because her buff is absurd, even if she's the only one using it, and it combos really well with her S1. Like, that's why I built Lado. But Arts Guards are the exact opposite of Lords, in that the diversity among the class is so interesting. I really, really love the diversity among arts guards. And I talked about in my Sadaroka video how every single arts guard, every single arts fighter that isn't Surtur or Vina, they all fall under the same identity of being innately defensive, but they all do it in their own way. Like, you know, it's like I talked about, Sadaroka is more HP based, Mouse does it with her attack reduction, Stezia is more defense buffing, Viviana has her shields. And they're all unique in that regard, as opposed to what I was talking about with Lords, where they all kind of are the same, but with slight differences. And so it adds so much diversity and a lot of, a really good way of exploring the amount of roles that they can possess. Arts Guards has longer range and hits multiple enemies skills, except Mouse and maybe Stezia. No? Sadaroka doesn't. Amiya doesn't, unless you're talking about our S2, but you can't rely on that. What are you talking about? That's only the 6 stars. That's literally just the 6 stars. And that's because 6 stars are... Vina is not defensive. No, she's not. Just because you have a sanctuary talent, that doesn't mean that your kit is designed to be defensive. Her kit is designed to be offensive. She does true damage. Like, you can't just slap sanctuary or pseudo sanctuary on an operator and claim that makes them defensively oriented, because it doesn't. It's just, it's to me, it feels like a half-assed way of making them feel like an arts guard when they're not. Their entire kit is meant to be, you're not supposed to use her as a duelist, you're meant to use her as a lane holder. You're supposed to put other operators around her. She more functions like an instructor than she does an arts guard, and that's a big reason why I don't like Vina's design. A lot of people disagree with me on that. A lot of people like Vina, but I don't. I really don't. Does arts guard have res? They do, 15. Actually, I think Amiya has like 17. I think she's weird. She has 20. She has 20. Amiya's weird. But I really love the diversity among arts guards, because they all fulfill the same identity, but they all do it in very vastly different ways. And they all function very...
Don't doubt your own judgment.
Thanks for the sub. That's so loud. That like genuinely scared me. I put them in... I don't know if I'll put them in S tier. I'll put them in A tier, because I think they are a very well-designed subclass. And so it does hurt me when you do have... newcomers come out that do just kind of hurt me. You do have like new, arts guards come out that continue to ignore the fun part about their subclass and just kind of make them generic DPS lane holder operators. It's just like, all right, you don't need to be using arts guards for this. I think Vina's cool, but she's gonna be categorized as an arts guard. I agree. I am fine with Vina's kit. My main issue is that she classifies as an arts guard, because to me, I think she should be an instructor. And I also think that, I think Vina was probably
supposed to be an instructor. Don't doubt your own judgment.
Because that fits her character a lot more. And they didn't make her an instructor because people wouldn't have pulled for an instructor. People would pull for an arts guard because of what Surtur has. That's what I think it is. That's like my weird conspiracy brain head going on. She was meant to be an instructor, but they just changed it at the last minute. Chen 3 is the worst example. 100%. 100%. She is 100% the worst example. Speaking of instructors. I like instructors. I think they're cool. I wish Hypergriff actually did something with them. I love instructors. I think it's such a cool... It's like, hey, here's a melee operator that gives buffs to other operators. That's cool. That's cool. Why don't you add more instructors? Like, the instructors we have are like, okay. It's like, okay, Swire's cool. With Slash, she buffs defenders. Like, I like Bryophyta, he's cool, but it's like none of them really feel that fun to me, if that makes any sense. Is that none of them really entice me. They don't really get me excited. They don't really have that much combo potential. And part of that is because Bryophyta and Whislash are more defensive rather than being offensive. Pallas is pretty good. Yeah, but do you use Pallas for her buffs, or do you use her because she's strong? Like, that's the big difference. Like, yeah, her S2 is pretty good. I'm not going to say Pallas isn't, you know, quite interesting. But I do think a lot of people just go whip, and that's the main reason why they use Pallas. But it does make me a little sad that we don't have more instructors, because it's such a cool idea for a subclass. It's just been executed very poorly, I think. They don't really have any instructors that you want to build around. They haven't... Legitimately, what was the last instructor added? Bryophyta? Like, I think it's just Bryophyta. That's literally it. Mocha, please be respectful. We're not doing that shit in this chat. But yeah, I really, really wish instructors were... we had more instructors, and they were... Was it Bry or Tech? I think it was Bry. Was it Doc? Was it? Could it have been Doc? I'm not sure. But I like instructors. I just... Because Doc is also kind of not really an instructor. The R6 operators are like... I'm fine with the R6 operators kind of breaking their archetype, because I think they do some really cool things with it, and I think it's fine because it's a collab and it's R6, and they're making it more flavorful for what the R6 ops are, you know. And I think it's flavorful enough, but he's kind of also not an instructor, you know. And so it's like, I just wish they introduced instructors that had more interesting buffs to them that you could really build around, that can get you excited. Because as much as I like Bryophyta, it's like, you don't really build around, like, his defensive buff. It's like, I don't really want that. Like, sometimes I'll use that. I remember using him a bunch in my no gacha, because he was the only instructor I had, and his defense buff was pretty good. But like right now, I don't really care. And so it makes me sad, because I really wish instructors were a lot cooler and we would get more instructors, but Doberman is kind of weirdly like the coolest instructor out of the bunch. Doc is guard with self-healing. Well, he is, yeah, but also healing other things. But he's not really an instructor. He doesn't really buff things. Doc plays like a geek. Weirdly, yeah. Fighters! If you said Doc was a medic defender, I would believe you. Yeah, it's like he really isn't an instructor. Okay. Fighters. A lot of people don't like fighters. I'm fine with fighters. I think they're fine. They fulfill the role of... Because that's the thing, is that fighters are just cheaper dreadnoughts. They are dreadnoughts that you don't really... They're dreadnoughts that kind of lack HP, but you just drop them down cheaper and they're better at picking off important targets. They're quick, they do their job, they're fine. Again, I think a lot of the issues that people have with fighters are a lot of the issues people have with dreadnoughts. And of course, the whole dodge thing is, yeah, it sucks. It's kind of a meme. I don't really think... It's kind of silly. I wish they were a little better at handling the dodge. But, you know, I enjoy using Jackie. I like Jackie. Yeah, fighters, cheap cost, single block. I think they're basically just cheap dreadnoughts. Which, of course, that's kind of the thing. The first 6-star fighter is a Centurion. Yeah, that's also... God. Fighters need more help compared to dreadnoughts because of how damage reduction works. Yeah, but they also cost, like, less than half as much. That's the whole idea. Is that they're cheaper. You can use them as a very efficient way of just dealing with certain enemies. Either to just hold a cheap lane, you know, do that kind of stuff. And they do have synergy in IS. That is correct, yeah. Fighters are cool. It's just kind of sad that all the really good fighters need to get rid of their unique thing. Well, that assumes that that's a good thing to say that, like, because I don't think Mountain is a well-designed operator. I think Mountain's a pretty poorly designed operator, but I mean, Chongwei is kind of cool. Because I don't think the dodge is an innate quality to them. I don't really think that that dodge should be something that's part of their identity. It's kind of a fun extra thing like stun. It should be supplementary rather than something that you're relying upon. And so, stun for crushers, I should say, not just stun in general. I like them. What should I choose? I think I like them better than Centurions. I like them more than Instructors. No, I think that's fair. I think that's where I'm gonna put them. That's where I'm gonna put them. Yeah, like nothing's gonna get D tier. I think there's no point in D tier. Okay, Sword Masters. Sword Masters are cool. I mean, Sword Masters are cool. I don't think I've ever been like super excited to use a Sword Master. My favorite Sword Master is not a Sword Master. Like my favorite Sword Master is not a Sword Master. They're kind of, I was talking about a little earlier with the Mechcasters. They're very similar to Mechcasters, where it's like the whole idea is that they have a bit less attack, but they attack twice. And I do think the Swordmasters are probably the most default guard out of the bunch. But I do think that the innate quality of Swordmaster... because Swordmasters do have kit properties that do give them a bit of an identity. That, you know, you do have offensive recovery, you do have nuker skills, you have things that do a very high instance damage, or things that do a bunch of damage really rapidly. And so they are the most guard out of the bunch. And so, I don't know, it's really hard for me to just like say anything about them, because it's like I understand their strengths. They're fun. I enjoy using them. I don't get excited about them. They're fine. They're, I think, the most like middle of the road subclass I think to ever exist. So I think below Splash Casters. Okay, actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to rearrange this because I think there's a very clear point. So what this is, C is like middle of the road. C is like, It's like, okay, they're fine. I don't really care. They're okay. B is like, they're weird, but I enjoy them. They're fun. I get excited to use them. Like B is I get excited. C is okay. You know what I mean? And then D is just like, I'm just, Like they're okay, I guess. Again, no subclass is bad. Not a single subclass is bad. Like, period. Just not at all. But I'm not someone who gets like, I guess I kind of get a little excited for Sword Masters. Definitely more than like an Instructor. I like using Cutter with like Levitate very much, and it's fun to buff her up. She really is. I would build Babeek. I do think that I should probably build Babeek at some point. She is a fun operator. Wait, left. Go back in. There we go. All right, next up we have Mushas. Holy. Okay. I don't think they're as peak as Dreadnoughts. They're not, or I guess they're not as important as Dreadnoughts. But God, are they just so much fucking fun. Holy. Every single Solo Blade is so unbelievably fun. Musha's the class without any bad opera. 100%. 100%. Musha's lack a soy star. That's crazy. What's the criteria here? How did Juggernauts have a D? It's just me. It's my personal taste on things. No, D isn't bad. D is not bad. D is just, I don't really feel them. I'm not a huge fan of them. That's what it means. None of these are bad. This is just a ranking of how I think they are design-wise, how much I enjoy using them. That's just what it is. Oh my god, S tier Dreadnoughts. Yes, because they are. I love Solo Blades. Solo Blades are so much fun. Yeah, Solo Blades lack a soy star. Weirdly enough, the soyest operator out of any of the most soy operator out of all of the Solo Blades, the Mushas, is Utage. She's probably the most soy one, which I think is really funny. Noircorn is such an unbelievably well-designed operator. It sucks that he has nothing to do with the original Noir Corn, and he could be a completely different character. But God, is Noir Corn just such a... Should I increase the size of this? Is that better? Can you guys see that better? Is that just better? Oh my God. Oh my God. Noir Corn is so much fun. His S1. Oh. Still forgive her because she is cool. Yeah, of course. Of course. No, that's the thing, is that the most soy solo blade is Utage. Like, that, because people don't use her like a solo blade. The 4-star breaks the subclass more than the 6 stars. Like, listen, Zhou Li is really, really strong. I think he's a little too pushed. But he still at least is a... I think his shields might be a little too strong. I think he might be a little... He's Morgan on super steroids. But... yeah, he's a little too strong. He's a little too fucking strong. But damn, is he really fun. A lot of praise coming from someone with no masteries. Yeah, because I don't need masteries. Because he's that good. He's that good. I don't need masteries. Oh. No. These guys are so S tier. I love Solo Blades. They're such a unique, they're such a fun subclass. They're so cool. They're so cool. Next up, Liberators. Ooh. Are Liberators S tier? Zhou Li is in the case for me where it's just like, I think I like his kit way too pushed. I like the ideas way too pushed. But do Liberators go in S tier? Because goddamn do I love Liberators. Windscoot is so much fun. They are such a well-designed subclass. Yeah, it's just, they are a bit pushed. Liberators are a very, very well-designed subclass. I really love just... They're useful when they're not attacking. They're useful when they are attacking. You do have to properly manage them. You do have to use them correctly. Like, and I think Miolinar is actually a pretty well-designed operator, and the only issue with him is that he's just pushed. That's literally it. He's a pretty, like, conceptually, on paper, there's nothing really wrong with Miolinar. He's just pushed. That's it. Lazy, there's a few issues here and there, but even then, it's like, there's really nothing that wrong with her. Again, a lot of the issues with Lazy are just, she's strong. That's it. So it's like, Tequila's super fun. I love his S2. I love being able to cancel it. I love Miolinar's S2 because I get to cancel it. Like, do I put them in S tier, though? Are we just back-to-back S tier? Lazy also doesn't have any design flaws either. Like, she really doesn't. Like, her S1 does have the issue of just, like, the triple damage glitch. That's an issue. But I do think that, in general, I don't think there's anything intrinsically wrong with her. Miolinar, Taunt, and Statline are more offensive to me than anything Lazy has. I mean... My Windscoot has better stats than him, though. Just don't level him up. Just don't level him up. Easy peasy. No, yeah, I think S tier. Better than Musha's. Ooh. I don't think I'd put them on with Dreadnoughts. Are they as good as Musha's? Because I like the taunt. I like Miolinar's taunt. I don't think that's offensive to me. Nah, Mushas are better. Actually, yeah, because I do think that Miolinar has soy star potential. I don't know, though, because I let Zhou Li pass because he was pushed, but his kit was fine. And Miolinar is also just pushed, but he's a really well-designed operator. I don't know. Who do I enjoy using more? Maybe Liberators. I think I enjoy using Liberators more. Because every Liberator is fun. Well, no, I haven't really used Lazy, but I don't really find Lazy to be that fun. She's like my least favorite out of the 4, but she's fine. I like her S1. Her S1 is pretty fun. I think that Liberators are below Shaper and Mysticasters. I don't think so. I really do enjoy Liberators. I really, really like them. So yeah. Like, they're just such a well-designed, it's such a unique subclass. Just like, again, it's one of those, like, it's like Phalanx Casters, where it's just like, they don't do anything, but they still have use while they're not doing anything. But I think what sets them apart from Phalanx Casters is that there is just a lot more to them, like functionally, and I do just really enjoy using them. All right, next up are Reapers. Reapers are a cool subclass, I guess, conceptually. My dog is fucking barking. I don't know. What do I think about Reapers? I don't really like the 6-star Reapers. I don't like either of them. Which apparently is a hot take for Entelekia, but they're a lot less cool than Mushas, yeah. Because I think just like duelist subclasses will always be more Giga Chad than like lane holders. You know what I mean? Like things that are just like la lane holder is just kind of lame, but duelist operators just 1v1 shit, just Giga Chad. Just putting them in D tier, I already know. Why would you think that? Techno is more enjoyable than Mjolnir? Well, I'm not comparing Techno to Mjolnir. I'm comparing Techno to Windscoot, Mjolnir, and Tequila. Which is just an issue of... Because again, part of the issue with Shapercasters... Because this isn't just Techno. Part of the issue with Shapercasters is that I'm hesitant that there is a lot of design space to still explore with Shapercasters. I'm worried that that Techno is the extent of Shapercasters. And so that's why she's not in S tier. She was going to be, but like that main reason is why I don't think that Shapers are in S tier. But at least with like Liberators, there is still cool design space that you can explore. But for Reapers, I'll put them below Swordmasters, I think. I don't think they're C tier. They're not like, you know, boring meh. Because I do enjoy them. I do enjoy them. I think people need to use someone other than La Pluma for once in their lives. I think that's so. People are missing out on Highmore and Humus being awesome. But again, a lot of them do just kind of feel the same. But I like them. I like them. They're not, like, insane, but I do like them. They're fine. No interest in Humus. You should. Bro can tank the Londinium cannon. And that alone is reason why you should upgrade Humus. Alright, now... They're a very limited class, sadly. Yeah, they don't really have a lot of design space to really explore with them. They are just their own thing. They're not like Mushas, where, weirdly enough, there is a lot of design space you can do with that. But with Reapers, it is just like they all feel the same. They're all just kind of their own thing. They do have their gimmicks, yeah, but that's kind of it. It's like, oh, Highmore heals elemental injury. La Pluma just is the better one. Humus gains shield, and it's like that's the extent of what differentiates them. And so a lot of the innate gameplay of them feels the same versus what like Arts Guards, where every Arts Guard feels intrinsically different to play with. And so that's kind of the issue with Reapers. Crushers. Chat, where should Crushers go? Chat, where do you think Crushers should go? Chat, where should we put Crushers? I'm a little confused. Where should we put this one? What are Crushers again? What do these guys do? Oh, it's like quartz? Oh, I see. Chat, where should Crushers go? Below Liberators, not gonna lie. Actually, just L take. Crushers are objectively the best subclass in the game. And the reason why is because there is not a single subclass in the game that has the balls of not having a stat. There is legitimately not a single subclass that is willing to just say, hey, I excel in being a massive tank doing a shit ton of damage and dying to a dog. The fact that this is one of those things that could only ever exist in Arknights. It is genuinely just amazing to me that Crushers exist. I'm so happy. I'm so unbelievably happy that Crushers exist, because they produce such interesting and unique gameplay purely just by their stats alone. There's no gimmicks, there's no mechanics. That's it. It's just stats. Hypergriff managed to create an entire class based off of just stats alone and nothing else. It's beautiful. I love Crushers. It's just, to me, it is... I don't remember where I heard this quote, but it's like beauty isn't complex, complex things interacting simply. It's simple things working in complex manner. That's like a quote. I think it was from like a Shredded Nerd video actually, but it was like the beauty is simple things acting in complex ways, having complex interactions. And to me, crushers are just kind of emblematic of that, just being such a simple concept. Something that is literally just numbers and nothing else, and how that drastically affects the way that you use them, how they interact with a bunch of different operators, and the amount of like knowledge that is required to use a crusher just purely based off of nothing other than stats. No unique mechanics, no nothing. It's so interesting. It's so fucking interesting. I love crushers so much. They are such a unique and cool like design concept that you can only really do in Arknights. I fucking love it. I fucking love crushers. Holy. Like, because people will say, like, I don't think people actually understand that, like, the crushers aren't just a meme. Like, I genuinely believe that crushers are the best designed subclass. That's why I like them. Because they are just so unique and fun. Earthshakers! I love Earthshakers. Earthshakers are fucking awesome. I wish there was more than one of them. We have Ada, we have Pepe, and no other Earthshakers. Crazy. There's literally no other Earthshakers in the game. Earthshakers, I think, fall under a very similar issue to Shapers. Because it's such a cool concept, but I don't really know how else you really expand upon it. Because it's literally just be a diet crusher that does significantly more AoE. They're really, really fun, but Pepe and Ada already have a lot of overlap, and jokes aside, Nyamu just kind of fucking isn't an Earthshaker. Isn't the drummer girl an Earthshaker? He says while I literally show that on the Earthshaker screen. The thing is that they don't really explore any new ground with Nyamu as an Earthshaker. They really don't. There's not really a purpose to her being an Earthshaker other than like, oh, like when you hit a drum, there's like reverberation. Like it's more flavor, if anything. She doesn't really explore any new design space for an Earthshaker other than just like spamming attacks and that doing AoE, except all the AoE damage is so little it just doesn't matter. So I'm sorry, she just isn't an Earthshaker to me. She's some nothing burger. I wanted to build her. I low-key kind of wanted to build her. I remember I was thinking, I'm like, I kind of want to build Nyamu. I kind of want to give her a try. I kind of do. And then I like DM'd Loey, and I'm just like, okay, Loey, is it worth it to build her? Is there any other like Ave Muchka operator you think's cool? And he's like, no. I'm like, okay. I don't even think the Fragile is that interesting. I really don't, because I think that you can find this, it's not really an identity, it's just a debuff that she applies. It doesn't really affect much. Like, I like Earthshakers, I think they're really cool. I just don't think that they're going to have, because again, the fact that Nyamu is the way that she doesn't really explore the subclass. She's just kind of this own weird hodgepodge of stuff that exists to synergize with Ave Mujica and nothing else, really. Again, I really like Earthshakers. I love Ada. Pepe is really fun. I think I'll put them right below Shapers, because they suffer the same issue. Nyamu's the least interesting Ave Mujica collab. She's the entire event. Okay. Fragile's like 8%, it's nothing. Yeah, it's like, it's a nothing burger on top of her nothing burger bonus damage. Her main strength is being an Ave Mujica operator. That's literally it. Because the whole point of her is that she's meant to synergize with other Ave Mujica operators that care about instances of damage, like the Bard or like the 6-star. So it's just like, I don't care. She's very parasitically designed, and that's why she kind of suffers. That's why I don't like her. Okay, which one's this one? Primal Guards. Am I even able to make a proper assessment of Primal Guards? Is this even fair? like, is, is this even a fair thing to make a judgment about? Like, I'm just analyzing Grace Bear. Talala, yes, we know. That is why primal guards exist, because of Talala. But yes, the primal guard that never procs their effect and everything just dies. Yeah. She legitimately does so much damage it doesn't even matter. Because what's crazy about Grace Bear, I like her. I like her kit. She's cool. Is she a primal guard? Not really. Her S1 very, very, very rarely will ever actually proc the nervous impairment. Because in order for her to actually do enough nervous impairment damage, they need to have a low enough defense. And you judge Techno as a single up subclass. Yes. And part of the reason why I did is because I don't believe there's really anything else outside of Techno. The issue is that this is a primal class. And guess what we don't have? A nervous impairment ritualist that isn't stupid. How do you want me to analyze Grace Bearer when the only way she can really inflict nervous impairment damage with her S2 is with an operator that already kills everything? And so a lot of the use case that you get out of Grace Bearer isn't really using her like a primal guard. Grace Bearer suffers the same issues 5-star primal casters. So I think bailing her out. No, she doesn't. She doesn't. She's a perfect, just like the primal caster, she's a perfectly fine operator on her own. I don't know what you're talking about. We do have Cairn, but like, again, I don't have Cairn. I can't use Cairn. So it's like, I can analyze Grace Bearer as an operator, sure, but I can't analyze primal casters. I literally just can't. Because you don't use Grace Bearer as a primal, like, as a primal guard. So I actually just don't even know where to put them. So I'm just gonna put her there. Yeah, so I don't think I can analyze primal. Like, I guess we could talk about them conceptually, but like, the thing is that they're not as interesting as like primal protectors, because primal protectors at least have like the more defensive side to their kit. Like I can talk about Philae, even though she's like a one man operator or one man subclass, but the thing is that you can get the fullest extent out of her kit even without using any other operator, because you can use her as a tank for elemental damage. You can use her to do elemental damage. You can use the full extent of her kit, but it's like the experience of using Grace Bearer is just using her as a really cool guard. Like, that's kind of it. She's like a sword master that just does a bit more damage. Like, that's just kind of it. So I don't know how to analyze Grace Bearer. So like I can analyze Grace Bearer definitely, but I can't really analyze primal guards. Core medics. What core medics? Okay. You're going in, I probably C tier. Yeah. I guess I like core medics more than protectors. It's like I'm comparing a brick to a stone. It's like, what do you want me to say? Like, again, it's a baseline subclass. The design that exists within a core medic is more to do with the medic itself rather than the subclass. There's no intrinsic properties of the subclass. It's a baseline subclass. I don't know what you want me to say about it. C tier. I like Record Keeper's awesome. I like Silence. I like all of them. Actually, I just like all of them. Monster is my favorite core medic doing true damage. So, yeah, okay. All right, multi-medics. Multi-medics are a lot more interesting. Because you do have the idea of, like, what if less healing, but heals more things? And so you have this just kind of natural idea of, like, okay, it can heal multiple things better. Cool. It's not as good as single-target things. It's better multi-target things. All right. Is there that much design space for it? Not intrinsically. I mean, if you do look at a lot of the multi-medics, it's just like, you know, Rose Salt's actually a really well-designed medic, but this isn't something that is... No, actually, no, Rose Salt is a really well-designed multi-medic. Because her turning the HP loss and her turning damage into HP loss makes it easier for her to heal it. That's the whole idea, is because she's a multi-medic. So Rose Salt is like very easily the best designed multi-medic, but it's like Perfumer, I mean, I guess healing everyone is not that different than healing 3 things. And Patopsis, the main reason why you use her has nothing to do with her being a multi-medic. Actually, I think Breeze is a pretty well-designed multi-medic. I don't know, it's so... I don't really know what to say about multi-medics. They're cool. I like them. There's not a lot of really interesting kit design. So which operators have been erased for the sake of the list? I'm going off of, like, I'm not really talking about specifically, you know, subclass. I'm not talking about, like, specific operators. It's just more about how the subclass chooses to apply itself. Yeah, Breeze explores her targeting. Yeah, I like Breeze. They don't really do that outside of Rose Salt. They don't really do that much with the subclass's identity. So it's hard to really say that there's a lot of interesting design space for a multi-medic. It's just the quality of being a multi-medic is just kind of good. So I it's fine. I don't know. Yeah. This is gonna be like all the medics. It's like, what do you want me to say about a medic? Therapist, strictly better core medic. Like therapists are like extra weird because their whole idea is you're meant to use them to counteract status effects, but that's their identity. But in reality, their identity is being strictly better core medics. So yeah. Fallenic's a core medic, not what we're talking about. So I guess B. I don't know. Like, that's just the thing with the medics. What do you want me to say about them? Because none of them... Because that's the thing, is that all of the medic subclasses are very utilitarian. They're not designed to introduce cool mechanics. They're designed because they fulfill a specific niche that is important to the player. They're very utilitarian in that regard. And so you don't use a medic because the medic itself is very fun. You use it because it helps you in the specific stage, because that's what they're designed for. They're very, I guess, reactionary subclasses. And so I'm not really sure how to rate them, because they don't serve much of a purpose other than just being like, I don't know. I actually don't even know. They're just like cool, I guess. I kind of want to put like all of them in C tier just for that property like alone. Cause yeah, it's like only Rose Salt, like, yeah, it's like wandering medics. They heal elemental damage. Incantation medics and chain medics will get, but like, yeah, multi-medic therapists, wandering medic, they're all just kind of the same thing. I'm just gonna put them in C. It's like they're fine. They're not something that I do find. I think multi-medics are a bit more interesting, but I do think that these are all just like, they're just boring. They're all just kind of the same thing. They're very utilitarian. There's not really an order between them. Multi-medics are a bit more interesting, mainly because of Rose Salt, I guess, but there's at least more to work with multi-medics, while everyone else is just like, this counters a specific effect, rather than really working than some things. I don't really know. Now we have incantation medics, and incantation medics are probably the only medic subclass that actually wants to do something mechanically interesting. You know, they're offensive and their healing is based off of the damage they do, so it's not always reliable. And so they're kind of interesting in that regard. They fulfill a bit of support roles. They're definitely high B. I think they're definitely really high B. Oh fuck yeah. Battle plan extinguish sins. Let's go, baby. This is on shuffle, not even rigged. Rage from the mountain blisters like a stone beneath my feet, where the demons I think they're definitely more interesting than Guardians, because the applications to them I think are a lot more interesting. I like incantation medics. Chain medics. Shame there's no 6-star chain medic. Music is so quiet. Oh man, I can turn it up. There's music. Okay, chain medics. This wound with bloodshed, you are the wicked victory. The fuck do I... We're not talking about operators specific. We talk about operators when we're talking about how the subclass has design potential and how Hypergriff has jumped on those designs. We're not... I'm more analyzing the subclass conceptually. Like, what the fuck is the identity of a chain medic? Like, you can kind of use it to get outside of someone's range. I don't fucking know. Paprika and Papyrus are cool, but, like, that's not because they're chain medics. Like, chain medics are a cool concept, but, like... I don't know how to analyze chain medics. I don't know. I probably, yeah, just like D tier. Yeah, chain medics do AoE true damage. True, 100%. Yeah, they're super like effortless buffers that just give you everything without you needing to work for it. That's the identity of a chain medic. There's no design space for a chain medic. There's like one thing. The purpose of the chain and with the reconstruct monster is a very good chain medic. Yeah, issue is that she gives all of your operators easy buffs for like no reason, and you can use her to do just like true damage. And monster is an operator designed for people who don't want to play the game. That is the case. It's designed for people who love uber buffing like one single operator, but it's also designed to just be a medic that just lets people not play the game. I don't like monster at all. Because the thing is that there is like the thing is with Paprika is that both Paprika and Papyrus have these sorts of effects that are quite interesting. That because the chain loses its effect over time, they each have an effect that applies to that is like a fixed healing effect that applies to the operator when they get hit by the chain. So it kind of alleviates the lessened healing a little bit. And I think that's cool. I think that's kind of interesting. If you know Monster's S2-3, she's a great chain medic. No, because her talent is still stupid and is effortless, and it takes no effort to get those buffs. If you remove Monster, if the only element about Monster that remained was her S1 and her reconstruct, then she would be fine. It's the buffs that I think are just way too stupid, just way too effortless. Because again, it takes this idea of just like you hit someone with the chain, and I think that's kind of the cool thing with chain medics is that they never explored it. Is that you have this fixed effect that can hit multiple targets. That you can always have this guaranteed application to. And yeah, in the case of Monster, it can lead to certain effects being applied. The issue is that Monster's fucking effortless. And it's way too big of a buff for what she applies. This is a cool design space. I like this design space. The issue is they don't really do anything with it. And the one time they did do it, it's fucking Monster. So maybe C? No, because the thing is that they have design space. They just failed on capitalizing on that design space. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Because I like the reconstruct. I think it's a cool idea. I think it actually is pretty cool. I just really hate the buffs. I think the buffs are way too effortless. You really should like have to earn them. Marksman. 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 Who doesn't love Marksman? Who fucking loves Marksman? Like, come on. Who doesn't love Marksman? Marksmen are fun. What's the identity of a marksman? They do tiny damage, they hit air, and they attack a lot. They're cool. I like them. A lot of marksmen are quite unique. A lot of fun gameplay. I don't think there's enough marksmen to discuss the subclass. That is true. We may need to wait for a few more to come out. I do like the diversity of marksmen. I really do. Like, there are a lot of cases where I don't just default to Cruce. I will use other operators. And a lot of the 4-star marksmen are also pretty good. May and Meteor, very, very fun. No, I like marksmen. Freaking awesome. Wharf plus marksman is 9% of the fun in Arknights. Yeah, and they gave us a new tool to also continue to do that. So it's like, I don't know. They're awesome. Hey, the 6-stars aren't busted. Well, I guess you have, what's her name? But, Ash. But yeah, like Archie and Exusia, they're not busted. Fine. Are marksmen S tier? They're either high A or S tier. Is marksman S tier? They're like, you can't hate marksman. You physically can't. If you hate marksman, you have like no happiness in your life. Exus defont, yeah, that's why I don't have it. Yeah, I don't really like Exusia's second module. It is very silly. But are marksmen S tier? It's just such a core, because that's the thing, is that what's funny about marksmen is that they are a baseline subclass, but there's so much like you can do with a marksman, and there's so much that they have done. There's so much diversity. They're all really fun. I like them. They're the best, like, they're the best baseline subclass, 100%. I just have this cough. It's been this whole week. Better than, I don't know if I'll put them above Musha's, but I do think they're S tier. Marksman 100% S tier. All snipers should be D, since none of them are actually sniper aside from Deadeye. That is true. And even then, not all Deadeyes are really snipers. So yeah. Artillerymen. I like artillerymen. They're fun. Artilleryman is literally just like, what if a splash caster, except it actually has range? And that's literally the only difference. And so because of that, artillerymen end up being a lot more unique in that regard. They don't... Again, splashcasters are fun. Artillerymen are also fun. But a big element of what make artillerymen pretty good is their massive fucking range. And so they just... Yeah. You don't have meteorite, lol? No? Sure, Yuki, the best AoE caster. Also true. Also fucking true. I'll put them high B. Do I like them more than Splashcast? I don't think I like them more than Splashcasters, but I do think they are better designed than Splashcasters. Which does kind of suck. Maybe I'll put them right next to Splashcasters. I don't know, because that's the thing. Splashcasters are more fun. But artillerymen are just kind of better designed. So I do enjoy them. They have a much stronger core identity, which is something I do really enjoy. No Fia meta, you're missing out on some core map positioning minigame. Fuck. Fia meta is just Awk, but for for lame people. I'm sorry. Alright, Deadeyes? I like Deadeyes. I think okay. I love Ambriel. Ambriel was like my favorite operator for a long ass time. I loved Ambriel. I really, really do like the idea of a Deadeye. The idea of just like picking off certain targets. And weirdly enough, like the whole like prioritize enemy with lowest defense. I do find that to be fun to work around in a weird way. Like, it's a downside that I think kind of balances how fucking strong they can be. And especially, well, it's less of a downside with, like, Ambriel's, like wide-ass range. But Andriana's really fun. Lunica, I mean, okay, the thing is with Lunica is that she's not really a Deadeye. Her main use is that camo. It's less to do with her being a Deadeye. Firewatch unbuilt. I don't have infinite resources. I'm sorry. And yeah, Fartooth is kind of fun. It's a cool concept. I really do like them conceptually. I think low A, probably. Better than Primal? Probably better than Primal. No. Maybe like this. I'm kind of thinking of putting Chaincasters in B tier now. I don't know. I think Tobo's gone. I think it's fine. Tobo was only here for the Chaincaster, so I think I could probably put it in B while he's not looking. Let's lame about Fia, woman. So next up we have heavy shooters. Okay, heavy shooters are really weird because they don't really have an identity. They just kind of, they do damage. Like, what exactly is the identity of a heavy shooter? They do, yeah, like, what does a heavy shooter do? Yeah, Melonite is a really fun operator. She was my first gacha 5-star at max pot, which is kind of funny. Literally in the first month of the game, I got like 4 of her. It was weird. But the thing is that what actually is the identity of a heavy shooter? They just do damage. They shoot heavy. Yeah, it's like... Like, I love Acid Drop. I love Melonite. Province is even Province is kind of cool. She's like an assassin. She takes out things at low HP. So it's like, I don't really know what to say much about them because a lot of what makes heavy shooters like kind of work is individual operator design as opposed to being innate to the subclass. And since we're rating subclasses, I think that is a downside to the subclass in a way. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not... The operators in the subclass are good, but the subclass itself doesn't present them a good design foundation. They're just good on their own. And so to that, I think it's just like, okay. I think like high C tier. Because I think... I don't know though. They're also pseudo fast redeploy, but so fucking true. So fucking true. What is this breakcore shit that I'm listening to? What is this? Boiling blood. Cool. Skip. What is this bleep bloop noise I'm listening to? What the fuck? Yeah, because again, I think it's the subclass itself doesn't present a lot of interesting design space for the operators to explore. The operators themselves are just cool. That's kind of the thing. Why is she not on the account? I'm not some like super veteran whale who owns everything. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Spread shooter. Spread shooters they actually do have a bit of identity to them. And so they at least have identity outside of like other than heavy shooters. They at least have identity unlike heavy shooters, where the whole idea is just like Lamau, they have a shotgun. Can't believe Mr. Streamer doesn't have all units ever built. Yeah, I know, crazy, right? The Pinecone class. Kachise is really fun. I love Pinecone. They're all really cool. I like spread shooters. They're kind of fun. They're fun. It's a shotgun. It's a shotgun subclass. Hardcore Aista user, I feel like you're missing out. You know what? I probably am. No, I want to say high B. Better than Incantation Medic. I think better than Guardian. I think... You know what, chat? If you guys really want me to just own every operator in the game, if you want me to pull for and build your favorite operator, just give me money and I'll do it. I'll use that money in the game and then I'll pull for your favorite operator and I'll talk about it on stream, and it'll be a nice fun time because then I get to talk about your favorite operator and you get to feel good because I'm saying good things about your favorite operator. You can literally bribe me right now with real money to pull for your favorite operator. It's that easy. It's that easy. Yeah, I love spread shooters. I don't know. I wouldn't call them S tier, but they are definitely high B to me. I don't get excited to play them like with it's an A tier, But I do really like their design. I think there's a lot of cool design space with it. So 100%. 100%. I really like them. Besiegers. Besiegers. Besieger. I mean, who fucking doesn't love a besieger? It's... The besiegers are Deadeyes, but they kind of work a little better because rather than targeting something that's like... Rather than targeting tiny little Timmy on the other side of the map, they target the actual thing you want the thing with high attack to deal with. Don't pull out that deal. People force you to build the next idol anime collab 6 stars.
You, anything else you want to know?
Nominai, it was joking.
Pull.
What do
You, anything else you want to know?
what
Pull.
even is that currency? Thank you, Nominai. I have no idea how much that is. But thank you for 200 shekels. But yeah, I like besiegers. Who doesn't fucking love besiegers? Oh, actually, you know what? I do actually have a thing I was saving for stream. No! Fuck, the Viviana banner's gone. Shit. I was gonna pull on the Viviana banner. I was waiting for a stream. Literally 8 cents. Yeah, seems about right. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Because I have this. I got this from the auto video competition thing. I was gonna use it on Viviana and she's gone. Oh. Also, if your alert that Dono is 2 to 3 times louder the rest of the stream, unironically hurt my ears. I can fix that. Well, I have to wait till after the stream, but I'll fix it. I don't know if I can change the alert volume on here. I don't think I can. I have to go into the thing. Yeah, no Viviana. I want a Viviana. Fuck. What do you think about Vina? I already talked about that I don't really like Vina. I don't think she's not in Arts Guard. People cope and say it's like, oh, she's in Arts Guard because she does arts damage. She doesn't even fucking do that. It's just true damage. You don't use her like an Arts Guard. She doesn't have the same gameplay as Arts Guards. You put her down and she just becomes a lane holder. She's just lane holder, AFK operator, where you just give her, hey, what if this 1-block duelist had like 50 block with all of these things that she summons? What if she actually just had... What if she could just like target a bunch of shit and she's actually just a lane holder and you're rewarded by deploying other operators around her rather than leaving her on her own? She's not designed to be a duelist. She's designed to be a lane holder. And people will say like, oh, why can't arts fighters be lane holders? Because they're not. 1-block operators aren't lane holders. They designed a 1-block operator to be a lane holder. I don't like that. Now, you could still use her and like her. That's fine. But I don't like her. I think she is a very well-designed instructor. So, that makes me sad. No, fuck. I really wanted Viviana. Shit. Okay. We're talking about besiegers. I like besiegers. Who doesn't like besiegers? They're Deadeyes, but kind of, they are a bit easier to use. And they're really fun because they do a shit ton of damage. Who doesn't love fucking besiegers? What is this music? The name's in Chinese, so I don't even know what it is. I think A tier. I'm actually excited to use besiegers when I do get the chance to. I really like Arata, I really like Totter. I probably should build Toddy Fawns. She is cool. I'm not a huge fan of Typhon. She's definitely late AFK operator. But I like besiegers. I think they're cool. I will actually put them higher than... They're kind of on the same par as Fortresses now that I think about it. I think higher than Deadeyes. I'll just put them higher than Deadeyes. I like besiegers. And their range is just innately... Their range is unique and innately useful. I like that it has a dead zone to it. That you can be punished for bad... You can be punished for bad besieger positioning. That is something that I do like. They're cool. They're a very well-designed subclass. Just very simple. Simple as. Flingers! Oh, man, I love flingers. They're so cool. I wish there was more than one of them. Rosmontis users. fuming in chat. Like, I'm sorry, I don't use 6 stars. God, I love flingers. I wish there was more than Gray and Rosmontis. But what is... because the thing is that you do have Wishadel. And what's funny about Wishadel is that as long as you don't elite to her, there is nothing wrong with her as a flinger. The moment you elite to her, she is now suddenly a horribly designed operator. The moment you click one button, Wishadel goes from being a pretty well-designed flinger to being absolute dog shit. But I do really like flingers. I like the innate mechanic behind them. I like how their kits are kind of designed around that. I think Gray is my favorite. I do prefer Gray to Rosmontis. You know, it's just kind of how it is. I think his kit is a lot more interesting, really takes advantage of the subclass's trait a lot more. The thing is that that's it. I can only really go off of Gray. And it's like, is it because flingers are a really well-designed subclass, or is it because Gray is a really well-designed operator? So it's like, I don't know. What the fuck you want to acknowledge Terror Research Commission? Yes. No, because of Terror Research Commission S tier. I really love flingers. I'll put them high A. I think I will put them high A. I say them, like it's not just fucking Gray for me. Flingers are cool, just ignore 1S3. You can't really ignore her. If you have Wishadel at Elite 2, you can't ignore her second talent, which makes her incredibly unpunishing to misuse. So as long as you don't Elite 2 Wishadel, it's fine. Flingers have 2.5 good operators. Like, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. It's honestly fine with just the one summon. Like, I don't think so, because she's invisible, and you get more. You just have the ability to deploy her wherever the hell you want. I will. Yeah, I think flingers are better than phalanx. I think here, do I like them more than primal casters? Yeah, probably do, because primal casters, although I do love Wormy and she is really fun, I don't think she lacks that innate quality to her that flingers have. So I should probably, yeah, I think that's fair. That's fair. Hunters. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I have every hunter in the game at Elite 2. I fucking love hunters. Hunters are probably my favorite new subclass. I guess they are my favorite subclass that my favorite new subclass in the way that I was there to experience their release. I love hunters so much. Cold Shot is so unbelievably fun. I am really excited for the new hunter, Snow Hunter. She's gonna be so much fun. She has Power Strike. I'm so excited for that. I'm so excited for that. And Ray, as long as she's a classic case of ignore her S3 and she's fine. She's actually pretty fun as long as you ignore her S3. I think her S2 is pretty fun. Her S1's a crit skill. I like crits. Crits are fun. Who doesn't love crits? Crits on a hunter is awesome because just so much damage. Just ignore her.
Thanks
S3.
for your recognition.
Thanks for the follow, Keyless.
But remember to tell me if there's anything I can improve on.
Ray S1 is a weedy power creep. But yeah, I absolutely love hunters. I don't know if I'd put them S tier. Would I make them? I don't know if I can put them S tier because they're not as iconic, if that makes sense. No, it doesn't matter because I put Solo Blades up here. Solo Blades. Musha's up here. I caught myself. I swore. I'm sorry, guys. I used a very bad word. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Yeah, I need to turn down the alert noise. This is the first time anyone has complained about my alerts, but this might be the first time I've ever gotten alerts. I think I'll put them. I think they're. To me, I think they're S tier above Marksman. I think they're above Marksman to me. I don't know if they're as good as Musha's, but yeah, just awesome. Loop shooters. Loop shooters are cool. Who doesn't love a loop shooter? They are below Sentry. Well, I'm sorry. Well, I very much disagree with that take. Loop shooters are cool. I like loop shooters. Do I? I like Caper. Because the thing is with loop shooters is that the innate property of loop shooters is that they attack quicker when the enemy is close to them. And that's kind of cool. That's kind of fun. How are they higher than Shaper? Who is Hunters? Because I think Hunters are fun. And they're really, really cool. And there is actually a lot more design space than Shapers. I'm not saying that Shapers are bad. The main issue I have with Shapers is that there's not a lot of design space left to explore. I think Techno is kind of it. My stream is quieter than most. The alerts are loud in comparison. Is that how it is? So you just want me to turn everything up? You can do that. I'll turn everything up. There we go. So everything loud. Now you can turn down the volume. Just turn down the volume of the stream and I'll be better. Thank you for the feedback. I like loop shooters. I like the idea. There isn't much that you can really do mechanically to really work with it. Because I do think that, I mean, we already have like Brigid just kind of overlapping with some design with Neurontia. Again, there's not really much there's not really much identity that they really gain because of their mechanic. That's the thing. A lot of the time I just use them as marksmen. But, I mean, they're kind of cool. They're just kind of general DPS snipers that have good range like marksmen and can hit behind themselves. So, I mean, they're cool. They're fun. They do have an innate quality to them that I do think that is really fun. So I think I'll put them in A tier. Mostly everything is in A tier. That's hilarious. Where would I put them? Below primals, below sentries. Maybe low A. Maybe low A. I'll put them above primal casters. I think that feels good. I think that feels good. Push stroker. I love it when an operator. Okay, the whole thing with the push stroke. I mean, we can just kind of group these together. It's just kind of the same thing. The main issue with push strokers and rope masters is that they were designed at a time where they're very outdated subclass, because they were designed at a time where the whole idea is just like, hey, we can push things and pull things into holes, but they don't really have an intrinsic value outside of doing that. They don't have some secondary property that makes them like very interesting, and they're very reliant on stage design rather than like operator stuff. At least Weedy does kind of, I guess. Enforcer is a bit more interesting. Enforcer is probably the best interpretation of how you can kind of do this kit. What exactly is your opinion on the... Listen, I do think it's funny. Haha. We can be mature here. We're adults. We're adults. But, like, the main issue with them is that stages... It's not... They don't allow for interesting They don't allow for interesting operator design. They are reliant on stage design to make them useful. And that's partially why they kind of struggle as a subclass. They are fun. They can be fun, yeah, to push things into holes. But it does suck.
Time to end this.
Thanks for the membership, Lavos. Sorry for the just absolute fucking ear rape. I'm sorry. I need to turn down the alert noise. But yeah, it's like that's the issue, is that you can't design
enough.
You do have
time to end this.
Thanks, Lavos. I still don't know why it does the noise twice. But Enforcer is, I think, the coolest way to kind of make push strokers feel a bit more identifiable on their own. You can use them in a lot more situations. But I do think that it's just like... I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know. This is worse than getting assaulted. I'm sorry, alright? I'll fix it. Executors! Executors. Executors are fucking awesome. How do we only have 4 pushers? Are there not more pushers? Well, probably because these two were old as hell. We needed a 6-star, and Enforcer's the only one that's kind of interesting. But, Executors. Executors are fucking awesome. I think Executors are a perfect, something that Arknights just kind of needs as a game. Just by Arknights' main mechanics, to have a subclass that is defined by being easily redeployable is so integral to the gameplay is so integral to adding depth to its gameplay.
Enough. Time to end
Oh,
this.
thanks for the membership, Mocha. Very, very sweet of you. But I do I think that executors are S tier? Because I do think that just the nature of what executors allow for in design space is so amazing and perfect. They are something that is so integral to Arknights as a game. I think it has to be S tier. I think executors are 100% one of like the... I can't even say that it's like a well-designed subclass, because I feel like if Hypergriff never had an executor subclass, then that's their own fault. Like, they missed out. Like, this is something that you have to have in the game. Thermiex, my favorite fast free to play. Obviously, we can ignore the two power outliers, but I think that just the idea of what this subclass is, what it represents, is just so perfect. I just like executors for hogging all the 6 stars are the reason why we don't have 6 star for Sky Rangers. What do you mean? We don't get 6 stars on a class basis. We get 6 stars on a subclass basis. What are you talking about? I don't know. We just got Sky Rangers. I don't really know what you're talking about. But yeah, better than Marks. I think they are. They are, to me. I think Dreadnoughts are more... They're better designed because they show Hypergriff's attention to... It shows attention to how they want the game to be approached. And I think executors are just sort of something that should always be in the game, period. Just amazing. Absolutely amazing. Amazing subclass. Ambushers! Oh, ambushers are fucking awesome. I fucking love ambushers. What, like... I think all of the specialists are going to be, like, just amazing. Because they all are so unique and fun and cool. And ambushers are just, like, they take a really cool concept. Just like, what if we had an operator with 0 block? What if we had a melee operator with 0 block? And then they expanded upon that. And you can do some cool stuff with that. You can have a super evasive operator that can kind of live on its own, and you can do some cool stuff with that. Like, Kirara's design being what she is to me a good showcase of how diverse ambushers can be. Because Kirara isn't really like a debuffer. She doesn't crowd control. She just is a cool tank. She's a unique tank. She's so cool. Like, I mean, Manticore and Ethan are kind of two of the same, but, you know, Manticore's more damage-oriented. Ethan's very crowd control. You know, and Ascalon's cool. Didn't you say Crushers are cool for being defined by not having a stat that describes them too, doesn't it? Yeah, definitely. The thing is that Crushers, I think, are a lot more risky, if that makes any sense. Because if that makes any kind of sense, Crushers are a lot more unique in the aspect that you can't get away with, like, you can't very easily get away with just printing 0 defense on something. But the thing is that ambushers are a lot more accepted to a lot of people. Ascalon's still OP at E1 or E2 is very... No, I'm not saying Ascalon is balanced. When the fuck have I ever told you that 6 stars are balanced? I do love are they S tier though? The design of ambush really tough rollers, they're meant to avoid it, unless you meant risky design. I do mean risky design in the sense of, like, you're literally proposing, what if an operator with 0 defense? They're incredibly vulnerable in certain matchups. It's the fact, because that's the thing, is that the reason why I like Crushers more than Ambushers is because Crushers don't have any intrinsic mechanics onto them, where Ambushers do. They have this true AoE range, they have this built-in dodge, there's a lot more that makes them feel a lot more ambushery, I guess. Well, Crushers are literally just, there's nothing mechanically unique about them other than just, they have no defense and have a shit ton of stats. And that alone opens up so many interesting design, like, interactions with how they function. I don't know if I'll put them in S tier. Maybe I do put them in S tier. Ooh, no, I think S tier. I think low S tier. I think ambushers are just so cool. They're so unbelievably cool. I love ambushers. Geeks. I love geeks. I love geeks so much. Geeks are my second favorite subclass because just not really like crushers, but because they are so unique. You can't have, because what's interesting is that I actually think that geeks are a better designed subclass than crushers, just because of how unique they are, how interesting they can be. They're so unique. They fulfill so many different roles, but they never do one better than the other. They never do one better than the other. They are DPS operators, they're crowd control operators, and they're buffers. But they don't do one better than the other. And they mainly contain that identity of being all of these three in all this really wacky and cool way. They have this self-sabotage buffing that's so unique, so interesting. Self-sabotage buffing where they actually debuff the operator that you're trying to buff rather than using it to buff themselves, because that wouldn't make you a geek. That would make you just a very evil marksman. And so it's so unique. There's no other operator that gives you as unique of gameplay as geeks do, unless they were designed in a way that makes them pretty much functionally identical to a marksman. And so I just fucking love geeks. I really do. Both of them are great. Like, I know people like to clown on Spuria, but I think she's a really well designed operator. Spuria is really good. I love both geeks. They're so good. They're so much fun. They're so unique. There's no other game that you can have like an operator that debuffs your own operators to buff them. It's so cool. Fucking love it. Two of the best designed operators in the game, honestly. Anyone clowning on Spuria can't read. True. 100%. Merchants. Okay. I have very radical opinions on I have radical opinions on merchants. I both love them and hate them. I don't have like neutral opinions on them. I am not a huge fan of, because that's the thing is with merchants, I think they are a very well-designed subclass. I just don't personally enjoy using them that much. Because I like being able to play the game. I don't like trading my ability to deploy other operators for the sake of having a slightly stronger operator. I'm not a huge fan of that. However, I do think that merchants are an amazingly well-designed subclass. I think that, and it was mainly Swire that made, I love Swire. She is an amazingly designed operator. But I really love, we can use Swire as an example of, this is something that kind of the subclass leans into, where they aren't just about being, you don't produce DP, you get a stronger operator. They reward you for having them on the battlefield longer. And because they're fast redeploy, you're incentivized to want to retreat them at least at some point. They're not meant to be just lane holders. And so you're rewarded for having them on the battlefield for longer, which is why a lot of them have like these unlimited duration skills. The longer you have them out, the more you're going to be rewarded. So the more DP investment you do have to put into them. And I think that's such an interesting and cool design that gives them such a cool, what's the word I'm thinking of? Like skill ceiling. A lot of really cool skill expression to them. Same thing with Mr. Nothing. You have like the gambling aspect with a lot of his skills that encourage you to re-roll his effects, which, again, require that you invest more DP into them so you can get the correct effect that you want to just keep re-rolling. I think it's cool. I think it's fun. I love them so much. And I think Swire is such an amazingly designed 6-star. She is legitimately one of my favorite 6-stars. Hands down. Swire is an amazingly designed 6-star. Because she takes this idea of merchants rewarding you for having them on the battlefield longer and longer and longer and takes that to the extreme with the coin mechanic. Rather than having an unlimited duration skill, you have skills that pay you off more for not activating them for a long period of time. And so with her S2, the more you have her out, the more bottles she has. And the longer the bottles are out, the more damage they do. The more coins you charge up with her S2, the more damage she does when you deactivate it. And it all lies on that identity of merchants wanting you to, this whole identity of merchants wanting you to keep them on the battlefield for as long as possible. And I think that is wanting you to balance, keeping them on the battlefield as long as possible. And so you have to manage the resources. You have to manage your ability to not generate DP. You have to prepare correctly. You have to be very strategic with how you use them. I love merchants. I love them. I don't like them, but I love them. They are such an amazingly well-designed subclass, and I absolutely love them. I will not use them. I love them. I use Swire. I mean, obviously, as you can tell, I use Swire and IS, but I fucking love merchants. They're so cool, but I also don't like using them. So I don't know where to put them. I actually don't know where to put them. Do I put them in S tier because they're amazingly designed and I think they're so unique? Or do I put them in D tier because I don't like using them? What is this song? It's so familiar. Battle Pen Paralysis, yes. I don't know. Can't believe you said those strings of a sentence. Okay, I think I'm gonna put them top of A tier. Marching on scorched ground like a phoenix. I like this song. It's a good song. Like a phoenix. Okay. I'm running out of room in the A tier. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think merchants... the only thing that is preventing me from putting merchants in S tier is that I personally don't enjoy using them. It's so weird how I can like I will 100... I respect them. I just won't use them. Okay. Merchants. There we go. All right, next up is Trap Masters. Here's another... Chat, where do I go to deal elemental damage to unlock Wormy module? Do you have Bob? If you don't have Bob, then good luck. Well, I guess just use her S1. Just use her S1. Farm a stage with an enemy with like 0 res and just use Wormy's S1 to blow it up. Actually, I don't think her explosion counts. Okay, I don't know. Good luck. Trap Masters. Okay, here's another case of a subclass where I can 100% identify that these operators are really well designed and really cool, and that I just don't enjoy using them, personally. Like, I have Robin E2'd, I just don't use her. So I don't know what to do with it. Like, Again, I'm not a huge fan of Trap Masters personally, but again, I can understand that it's a really cool, well-designed subclass.
Don't doubt your own judgment.
Thanks for the sub, Emmanuel. No Wolfenite, low Ablana pulls. Yeah, why would I pull for Ablana? Actually, I say that like I don't actually have Ablana. I got her on accident. I didn't want her.
Don't doubt your own judgment.
So, I think Trap Masters... I don't know, because again, I can identify that they are just such a really well-designed subclass. You have this innate downside of, like, you can't deploy the you have to plan ahead. You can't just deploy deploy the traps on top of the enemies, because that would defeat the point. There's, like, this planning ahead. There's this, you know, cool aspect to it. Each Trap Master has different traps, and there's a lot of diversity to it. So, like, I can't, like, Trap Masters are objectively just a well-designed subclass. I just don't enjoy using them. So, I guess... Yeah, it's so weird. It's so weird. Maybe above Primal Protectors. Right here. I'll put them right here. In A, which is like, I like this subclass, but... Like, I'm excited about this subclass. Except, yeah, this one. I'm missing the sarcasm. Did the new Sui destroy everything? Have you done Robin's Paradox Sim? I have. I really like Robin's Paradox Sim. It's really cool. Where you push enemies into a block. I think it's to break it. It's so cool. It's so unique. Alright, Doll Keepers. Holy, I love doll keepers. I think do a paradox. I actually kind of want to. But I don't know how the fuck I'm going to do that. Because there's a lot of operators I haven't done paradox sims. Maybe I could do that. I'll do a stream where I do every operator's paradox sim and I can put it on a tier list. That sounds fun. Doll keepers are... Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I love doll keepers. 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 They are so cool. They are so cool. They are so fucking cool. Yeah, no, better than executors. No, better than dreadnoughts. Doll keepers are such a uniquely designed subclass, and Hypergriff knows exactly how to design them. They're so beautiful. I love it. I like how they design defensive doll keepers. They design offensive doll keepers. They're all fun. The only good Ave Muchica operator is the doll keeper. I fucking love doll keepers. I love their mechanic. It's so unique. It's so cool. Hypergriff really knows how to lean into their strengths as a subclass innately. They're not just throwing shit at the wall, making them DPS operators. They understand the natural strengths that having a doll gives them, and they lean into that. I love that. I love how their kits work. I love how unique they are. They're so fucking good. Ugh. Loves doll keepers, missing one. Okay, listen, I can't get the limited operator that ran before I started playing the game. I'm sorry. I don't even pull on limited banners because all limited operators suck. Ugh. No, I fucking love doll keepers. Alright, we got alchemists. Yeah, fucking love alchemists. I don't know. Streamer gets cortisol spike. That's just, you guys always fucking do that. Also, okay. Every time one of you guys, I don't know if this is a thing, but I keep getting like YouTube shorts of like Uma Musume memes of them saying cortisol. And is that where you guys got it? Like, is it just like an Uma Musume meme? Because by the way, I every time I get an Uma Musume meme on YouTube, I click do not recommend every single time. They keep coming. I can't get rid of them. Every single time. You horse lovers are so weird. But, alchemists are cool. There's a Logan Paul low stress meme. Search it up. All limited operators suck. Dusk exists, bruh. The one time Lowy chats. No, I'm joking. I'm joking, guys. I was just curious if that is where you guys got it, because I've seen multiple weird Uma Musume memes about cortisol. It's just like, is this like a thing? Is that where it came from? If it's like a Jake Paul meme, then I don't know. Alchemists are cool. I just don't. So Neon isn't a thing. I don't really like Neon. She's just, I don't like her. Thoughts on W and Neon? You guys, okay? You guys are the ones getting baited more than me. But, alchemists are cool. I just really wish we could see more of them, if that makes any sense. Because it's just like, Tin Man's a really cool operator. I like how he is. But I don't really, like, Thorns is cool, but it's like, I want to see more alchemist stuff. I want to see the lengths that alchemists can go to. I think they're a really cool subclass. I just really want to see, what the extent of alchemists can be. I want more of them. Give me more alchemists. They're so cool. Please don't let this be a one and done subclass. They're so cool. I think I'll put them in low A just because it's like, I'm sad because we're probably never getting another alchemist ever again. Thorns is cool. Meanwhile, Guy gives defense. True. Actually true. Cortisol is a brain chemical. Yeah, I know. No, I understand that. I thought the meme originated from Uma Musume. Like, it was a meme from that community. Yeah, alchemists have so much archetype potential. I really do love them. Now, I'll put them right next to Primal Casters. Put them right next to Primal Casters. Okay. Next up, okay, this is what the wiki gave me for Sky Rangers. This is not the Sky Ranger symbol. What is this? Did they change it on CN? Did they change Sky Rangers? What is this? Like, this isn't the Sky Ranger symbol. I'm so confused. They changed it because it looks like a 1944. No, it doesn't. It's going the wrong way. It literally doesn't. Like, it's a square. No. No, these are Sky Rangers. No, this isn't the Sky Ranger medic. This is just Sky Rangers. Okay, Sky Rangers are probably going to be the best flying subclass, just because they're the ones that are very interesting. Yeah, I never got the impression that looked like a swastika. Again, it's the wrong direction. This is, if anything, it would look like the Hindu swastika. Is it Hindu? I don't actually know. Don't quote me on that. The wholesome one. The one that means peace. The one that the bad guys stole and then flipped it backwards. Don't worry about it. So... oh my god. So, we have the Sky Rangers, and they're cool. I love them. They're cool, they're interesting, they're unique, they're a really cool design space. We don't need more of them. We don't... Buddhism, that's what it is. Yes, correct. Buddhism, not Hinduism. I'm silly. No, yeah, Buddhism. I like Sky Rangers. I think they are such a cool and unique subclass. Shame they're not unique anymore, but they are really cool. I like the idea of them. They're pretty versatile too. They're not just something, they're not like a gimmicky subclass. They actually do have some like good stuff. No, you were right with the Hindus. I was? Okay. Maybe I was secretly correct. All right. Yeah, so I'm definitely putting them in A tier. Because what sucks though is that with Sky Rangers is that a lot of design space is going to be stolen from Sky Rangers and then given to these other subclasses that kind of don't need to exist. And so it's like, okay, that kind of sucks. So I'm going to put Sky Rangers in A tier very easily. They're very, very fun to use. I'll put them right next to Alchemists. But I do think that, what a jam. I'll put them right next to Alchemists. They're very fun. Yet A tier is absolutely cramped. Maybe we need to bump some stuff down to B tier. What even is the rationale over flying medic? I have no fucking idea. I really don't. Okay, now we're on to Sporters. D-cell binders. C tier. Most like C tier operators like ever. Like, oh, I don't even really ever use D-cell binders. Like sometimes I will, but it's crazy that the whole identity of a D-cell binder is inflicting slow, but that's not something that's exclusive to the subclass, and so it ends up its own identity is often outclassed by other operators, and I just think that kind of... I feel bad for the D-cell binders, honestly. Like, there are some cool designs here, and obviously I just don't have a lot of the cool designs upgraded. But they're alright. They're cool. I don't know. I don't think chaincasters are just better, because chaincasters cost like 3 times as much DP to deploy, and their slow is not even close to as good. But... it is just, there's some cool designs among D-cell binders, but it's a very bizarre subclass. Because you often don't use D-cell binders for their slow. And if you are, you're probably just using Orchid, because there's not much difference between Orchid and, like, Ponenko when it comes to just their slow, outside of, like, Ponenko's S2, obviously. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird, because you don't use D-cell binders for D-cell binders. You use them for, like, their own thing. Alright, next up we have Summoners, and Summoners are weird. Because I think that Summoners are... They're a subclass that feels very intuitive to add to Arknights. It feels like, okay, we have all of these different like ways to deploy operators. It makes sense that you can deploy multiple different small things from one operator. The issue is that I don't think that it fits very well in Arknights as a game. Because... Because they don't exist to synergize with other operators, they exist to synergize with themselves. And so often when you do use a summoner, their summons are either replaceable by other operators or they carry the stage all on their own. And so they don't really exist to supplement your strategy. They exist to be your strategy. And that's not really something that I intrinsically enjoy about summoners. I think the exception of this is Scene. I actually really like Scene. I think she's a really well-designed summoner because her buggies do supply a support role that is good outside of just spamming them. Because they can reveal invis, and I think that alone is enough reason to want to use Scene. And in that case, you kind of use Scene like an artificer that can deploy something that is an actual object. And so outside of that, all of the other summoners are just kind of like, they're there for fun. If you want to use them, you can use them. That's just kind of how it is. I don't really think that they are... I think that summoners weirdly just kind of feel antithetical to how Arknights as a game is designed. It should be less about having a single operator do all the work and more, you know, to try and build a strategy in some kind of way. And so it's just sad because, again, they're not like horribly designed operators. They're fine. But I do think that most of the time summoners exist for low op clears. And maybe like using Deep Color's summons to like tank things. I don't know. I probably hot take. Yeah, I'm putting them in D. I don't. They're a good option to have. They're good. They're fun. You can just use them on their own. But I do think that intrinsically they are not something that exists very well in a game like Arknights. That's kind of my main complaint. They either don't do anything or they completely take over the stage. And so they feel very backwards for what Arknights is kind of meant to be. That's true for the 6 stars only. I don't really, yeah, but it's like, I don't really use Mayor. I don't really want to use Mayor because her summons don't like give me some intrinsic value to them other than just being like being a unit that does damage and blocks, which like other operators do. Same thing with Deep Color. I don't really use Deep Color. It's like, yeah, you can use them in IS. They have uses to them, but I don't really think that they fit very well for what Arknights is kind of what it is. What's wrong with dodge support? I'm not even gonna... Mayor explodes. Yeah, I know. I'm not saying they're not fun. I'm not saying that they're... Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that summoners aren't like some amazing... Like, I'm not saying that summoners are bad and you should feel bad for using them. They're not... They can't be fun. They can be fun. I think it's fun to use summoners and to use their summons and to do that. But I think that intrinsically as a design, I don't think they fit very well for what Arknights kind of is. It's not... They don't really exist to be very surgical. They don't exist to really synergize with each other. They exist to just kind of exist on their own with the exception of Scene. And so that's my main, you know, question about them. Hexers. Hexers are... again, it's very similar to, like, Executors, where it's like, if Hexers didn't exist, what, like, you would have to question the... Like, how do they not exist? Here's a subclass that's based around debuffing stuff. Like, this is kind of how it is. It's just, like, Hexers are awesome. Hexers are fucking awesome. Ambusher should be D, because Kirara's a fucking nerd. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Kirara's fucking awesome. Did you just come into my chat and dish Kirara? Did you come into my chat to dish my favorite ambusher? Do you know who you're talking to? I'm the biggest hipster that ever hipsed anything. Insane. Insane. Kidding. Oh. Look at you. You're backing away. You're backing away the moment I stood up. I stood up for Kirara. You can't even stand by your own dumb opinions. You know that? You know that? It's over. It's so over. Okay. Hexer time. Hexers. I love Hexers. Hexers are fucking awesome. Still remember the bloopers from the Kirara and her total... total gamer move. Holy. Hexers are awesome. If Hexers didn't exist, there would be other debuffers and other archetypes. Yeah, but I think you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Like, I think it is silly to not have an archetype specialized around debuffing. Like, that seems so obvious, especially when you have a supporter archetype. That makes perfect sense. And they're all awesome. They're cool. They're awesome. Who fucking doesn't love Hexers? Gnosis is such a well-designed operator. I love him. He's so cool. He's a hexer, but he does it in a unique way. It's so cool because cold is naturally a cool debuff. You made me use Lucilla and you haven't leveled her. How did I make you use Lucilla? How? We already had the debuff specialized class decel bot. Well, if the only debuff in the game is slow, then sure. And I know a lot of people probably they like Chimère. But like Pramonyx is a really good side grade to Chimère, like legitimately. Because being able to debuff res and having like debuffing res with Pramonyx and actually debuffing defense a little more than Chimère. Like, yeah, it doesn't have as good as of a cycle time, but you know, that having that option is good. She hits more targets. I like Pramonyx. Pramonyx is fucking awesome. When I said she was shit in the 5-star tier list, you defended her, so I start using her. Lucilla? Lucilla is cool. I love Lucilla. I don't have her built, though. I can like operators that I don't have built, because I think all operators are good operators. I think all subclasses are good subclasses. D tier isn't even bad subclass. Just, I don't like them. So, our Hexer's S tier. I don't know if I can give him... Because again, it's something intrinsic, like with Dreadnoughts or with Executors. They're not like super creative, but I do really like Hexers. I think I'll put them low A. Low S. Low S. Bards. Bards. The exact opposite of a Hexer. What if they just did nothing but buff things? Good thing none of them attack. None of them attack. Yeah, cool, I guess. I don't know. All operators are good operators, except Exu Alter. She is dirty as fool's bad. True. 100% true. You should be allowed to feel happy using any operators, unless it's Exusia, the New Covenant, and you should genuinely feel bad about yourself. But bards, I don't know. The thing is that bards are the exact opposite of hexers, where it's an intrinsic role of just being stat buffers. That's the whole idea of them. Why are we hating on Civlight? I'm not. I just think I'm not hating on Civlight. I just don't really like... I just don't really like that bards can do damage. I think that's kind of silly. I think it's silly. It's not nothing personal against Civlight. I think the rest of her kit's cool. I actually like her S3. I think her S3's like HP shenanigans is fun. I just don't like the damage. That's it. That's all. But bards, it's funny because they are very similar to hexers in function. I just don't... The thing is that I don't personally enjoy using them as much. They're fun when you do get to use them. It's always very fun to use them with like Exusii or good Exusii or Crus. And hey, being able to give Crushers defense is kind of fun sometimes, giving them some extra HP. It's fun, it's cool. Bards are alright, but they're not really something I get super excited about or something that I really bring to a lot of stages. I think... And again, I do wish they kind of explored the subclass a little bit more. And so it's like, you know, with Heidi and Sora are very similar to each other with like, you know, like Heidi's S2 being its own thing, but Sora, you know, it's like, I don't know. I just wish there was a bit more diversity in them. Yeah. I'm fine with the damage because there is a trade. They trade their healing usually. Yeah, but that's... You could say that about like anything then. It's like, oh, I'm perfectly fine with Crushers having defense as long as they trade their HP. It's like that. You can't really use that as doesn't really make much sense. It's like just because you do something that the subclass kind of shouldn't, that doesn't mean you should compensate for it. Like that doesn't make it work. But bards are fine. I just don't really get like super excited about them. Maybe lower than Splashcaster. Maybe higher than Reapers. I think I enjoy them more than Reapers, because there is some fun shit you can do with them. It's just not often I do use them. Okay, Abjurers. Okay, Abjurers are so... So, Abjurers are such a unique and weird subclass. I genuinely have no idea how Hypergriff came up with this idea. What if we had a supporter that healed... and was a defensively supportive operator that does damage? Kind of? Like, they focus on Sanctuary, and they focus on healing, and they do all this kind of stuff. It's like, everyone's saying peak and, like, S, and it's like, you're kind of right, though. That's the thing. Abjurers are legitimately, like, they're up there with, like, geeks and, like, doll keepers when it comes to, like, yeah, damage, yeah. But they're up there with, like, geeks and doll keepers when it comes to, like, class uniqueness. No other game are you going to get something like Abjurers and anything else. They have these, like, multi-role thing. Yeah, they heal. They also provide some extra support with, like, Quercus's S2, or, like, well, not really Xingqiu. Not really. She just kind of heals and gives Sanctuary. It also just gives heals and gives Sanctuary. Kind of gives support. We don't need to talk about that. But, yeah, if we ignore Haruka's S2, it is legitimately a perfect subclass. Like, people will kind of clown on Abjurers being like, oh, but I don't like having to think. I just want Monster to buff everyone and kill everyone for me. I hate it when my medics don't do 50 billion DPS, because apparently my medics need to be doing 50 billion DPS. So again, it comes to the creativity of the subclass. And weirdly enough, they've shown that they can do a lot of cool stuff with Abjurers. They've shown a lot of interesting design space. Like, I legitimately just... like, are they actually just S tier? Like, I don't, like, it feels weird to put them in S tier, but it's like, the more I think about it, it's like, yeah. But if you have Monster do DPS, then you have to redeploy the construct. Oh my gosh. I really do like Abjurers. They wanted to mix between caster and medic and didn't know quite how to design it. It's something I feel like they tried too hard with, but haven't explored properly. I think they've explored it pretty well. We can ignore 9-color deer, because she's kind of like not really an operator. But, like, Silence is really well designed. Xingqiu, I like Xingqiu is really cool with how it applies the Sanctuary and her S1. Quercus is a really cool operator. And Tsukunogi is also still kind of cool, being a weird, like, support janky thing. And so it's like, I like them being this cool. They're very unique with how they apply their buffs. And it's more defensive, but also... It's so weird. I don't know how to word it. It's really weird. I think low S tier. I think probably better than Hexers. I think Abjurers are just such a unique and cool subclass. I really do love them. Like, I would love to see... I do agree that I kind of wish we had a bit more diversity with them. But I do... I don't know if I like them more than Marksmen. More than Ambushers, yeah, but probably not more than Marksmen. They're just so unique. There's something you can only get in Arknights. Like, one of those subclasses. Artificers. Oh, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Who doesn't fucking love Artificers? I want Stainless is definitely a 6-star I want. I think, like, Stainless, Viviana, what other 6-stars do I really want? Is it just, I think it's just those two that I can think of. Mainly just Stainless and Viviana. But, like, goddamn. Artificers are so cool. Alana is awesome. Catherine's really cool. Roberta's fun when you can't really use her. And listen, people will clown on Winflet. He's still really fun. Winflet's fun. Fun as fuck if you get to use him. Like, come on. So sorry for all the disrespect I showed Roberta, my queen. Yeah. I don't know if I put them in S tier. I don't know if I'll put them in S tier. I will definitely put them high A tier. I will put them above Earthshakers. We have so much in the fucking A tier. We need like a B+ tier. Like, holy. There's so much in the A tier. Jeez. It's all hipster crap too. It's all stuff only I like. Insane. Like, who else is putting Primal Caster in A tier? I wish I had good taste. That'd be nice. There we go. Oh, it's almost like it's a good game. Crazy, I know, right? hate how much they screwed Catherine's numbers. 8% of her kind of pathetic HP is hard limit to. Well, I would, if I had her built, I would probably disprove that because I think it's wrong. But I'll take, probably. I don't know. Don't insult Catherine, that's mean. Where would you separate the A's from the B pluses? Probably at Sky Ranger, right here. We could probably do it right now. It'll just take a bit. Every time I do a tier list stream, I always have to add tiers. Every time. I hate that I'm jamming to this like J-pop song. It's kind of good. I feel like a weeb, but I feel like proud. Kind of a jam. Why can't I float the layer? Oh, because I can't touch it. Still can't float it. Why can't I float the layer? Why can't I float the layer? What the fuck? Will you ever do the Yvonne story? I will. I will. I actually legitimately forgot about that until, like, while I was setting up the stream. I'm like, fuck, wait, I was actually going to do a stream today. I was going to do a different stream. I can't float the layer. Okay, I guess we're no B+ tier. For some reason, I can't change the... Why can't I cut it? Let me cut it. What the hell? What is going on? B. Float. There we go. What the hell? Okay, move you down. That was a good song. Okay, so new tier. I always underestimate how many tiers I do whenever I do a tier list. I always add more tiers. Okay, yeah, URLB. No, come on. Oh my god, please. It take forever. Okay, yeah, I think after Sky Ranger is probably where B+ starts. These are subclasses I'm excited for, but not as much as, like, it feels like there's a significant difference between, like, my excitement for Sky Rangers and my excitement for, like, Sentinels. Like, these are cool. These are subclasses I have fun with, but maybe, like, I have a good amount of fun with, but maybe are not, like, excited for. I'm not sure. Okay, now we have Ritualists. And Ritualists are cool. They're... Ritualists are cool. I like Ritualists. Not that one. I like these two. These two are cool. Yeah, I think I got Tragodia before I think I got Tragodia in attempt to pull for Tippy. That's why I have Tragodia. I got Tragodia before I got Tippy. Permanent account damage. But Ritualists are supporters in the fact that they totally don't do a bajillion damage. But I do like Ritualists. I do like, because that's the thing, is that Ritualists are more about how much you enjoy elemental damage as a mechanic. And they're cool. I'm not a huge fan of the fact that they do just like a bajillion damage, but you do still have to work for it. It's not just something you just get. You do have to plan ahead for it, and without that damage, they don't really do that much. Tragodia is at least fun. According to who? A toddler? What? Cite your sources. I don't believe you. Where's your data? Please. I genuinely cannot believe that statement. That you can just have an operator that exists on the battlefield, has an infinite duration skill that just allows you to change enemy pathing. And it's just like, oh, I get to not play the game now. Yay. I get to just click the button over and over again. There we go, I win. I did it. I did it. I did literally nothing. No, I didn't have to deploy any other operators. I just deployed one operator, and then I get to play Candy Crush for a little bit, where I just tap on the screen in certain cases to deploy a little funny cat. It's so cute, guys. I do like Ritualists, though. I mean, because again, it's like Ritualists as a subclass. They do have a strong identity. I do like Val and bobbing. I like bobbing a lot more. maybe like mid B. Actually, maybe low B. Because the thing is that Primal Protectors are at least a bit more interesting. There's a lot more variety with how their kits work. But Ritualists are just kind of very straightforward. I'm not against them, but it's just like, yeah, be how it be. I already have a funny cat. Can deploy on the field permanently. Your name is Miss Christine. Based! Based! Everyone's talking about like, oh, I want my Tricodia's cool because cat. Like, yeah, you can literally do that. Just play Miss Christine. Alright, now it's having the Vanguards. Pioneers. I love Pioneers. But being gotcha is just mean. It is. It really is. I love Pioneers. Fucking love Pioneers. Fucking love Pioneers. This is so fucking cool. People hate on Pioneers because they are... the people who hate on Pioneers own Enos. That is why. If you don't have Enos, you become based and you start to realize that actually Courier is really cool. I love Tacticians. We're not even talking about that right now. We're talking about Pioneers. I like Pioneers, though. I'll put them in, like, mid-B. Pioneers are A. Vanguards are Siege and Punsiris. People who hate on Pioneers are, to me... people who hate on Pioneers are not me. I cannot use Pioneers. Oh, I cannot not use Pioneers. Okay. I'd say, yeah, I'm going to put them in mid-B. Because, again, A tier is, like, operators I'm excited to use. I like Pioneers. I am not excited to use Punsiris. I like using Punsiris. I don't get excited to use Punsiris. I'm not just like, ooh, yeah, I get to use Punsiris. It's like, I'm going to use Punsiris. Oh, I get to use Courier. I get to use Scav. It's just like, yeah. Chargers are really fun. I do like Chargers. I think Chargers are probably a bit more fun than Pioneers. They're a lot more interesting of a design. Just deploy an operator, have it kill a few things, retreat it, you get all your money back. There's not a lot of... Just having an operator that refunds itself fully, I think, is intrinsically a cool concept. I think that is intrinsically a cool design. My biggest issue with Pioneers is that they're too simple. I prefer Chargers. Okay. I was just checking your previous messages, because I was just making sure you weren't on the Tragodia hype train, because if you were, then... I had to make sure I could validate your opinion. Okay, I like Chargers. Chargers are really fun. No, I agree. I think they are more fun than Pioneers, simply because you get to do fun stuff with them. And it's not even just Feg. I like Vigna. Vigna's cool. Who doesn't love fucking Vigna? I like Chargers. Put them in A tier. Do I want to put it? No, I do. I actually do get excited to use Chargers. They are fun. I do enjoy them. They are quite fun. Flag bearers. Oh, okay. Okay, okay, because the thing is with flag bearers is that conceptually it makes sense. Here's a Vanguard that produces no combat benefit, but just only really produces DP and has some support benefit to it. That's it with flag bearers. It is conceptually a perfectly fine thing to add to Arknights. But in practice, they end up kind of being disgusting. Elysium is peak. Elysium and Wong King are really fun. And that's the thing, is that when a flag bearer leans into its support roles, that's when it can be really fun. It's when you have a, like, Myrtle, that you just get a bit really boring. I like flag bearers. But I do think that it can run into the issue of just, like, yeah, it's a min-max subclass. I like flag bearers conceptually. I do think that some of its execution hasn't been very well done, but I do think that they are innately a good subclass. I'll put them in B+. Because that's the thing. I don't think flag bearers are a harmful subclass to the game. Are they, though? That's the thing. Are flag bearers a harmful subclass? I also do think that Myrtle is fucking overrated. I think I guarantee you people would be gaining more if they used Wong King rather than just using Myrtle. Like, come on. It's like, oh, but like I have Bagpipe and I deploy Myrtle and I instantly activate it. It's like, you would get the same effect out of like deploying Vigna and having her kill 3 things. Like, who cares? You're not, I guarantee you if you just deployed Bagpipe and actually had her kill things, it would have the same effect. Flag bearers do cause brain damage. I think there is irresponsible flag bearer usage. You can be a flag bearer addict. You could be an irresponsible consumer of flag bearers, and that could lead to brain damage. But I don't think that is the fault of flag bearers. I think there are responsible ways to use Myrtle. There are responsible ways to use Myrtle. And it should not be the fault of Myrtle that there are people using her irresponsibly. Honestly, maybe I put them in like B tier. Because again, it's like a conceptually perfectly fine... No, I don't want to put them in B tier. Because they are a conceptually really... you know, sound subclass. Maybe low B+. Alright, next up we have Tacticians. Tacticians are cool. They're a very unique subclass, because the whole idea is just like, what if a ranged tile Pioneer, kind of? And it's like, okay, cool. Well, what if a Pioneer on a ranged tile? Yeah, that's exactly what they fucking are. I'm gonna put them right next to Pioneers. Because that's what they are. They are Pioneers, but on a ranged tile, except they don't have 2 block, they have 1 block. And you get to do some fun things with their summon. That's, yeah, I'll put them above Pioneers because they're a bit more interesting, but conceptually, they are just the same thing. They gain you less DP, but they have a cool summon, and they do ranged damage. It's cool. But, like, to me, they are just the same thing as Pioneers. They're just kind of the same thing conceptually as Pioneers. And the only reason why I'm putting them... because I personally prefer using Pioneers. I prefer using Pioneers to Tacticians. But the reason why I want to put Tacticians above Pioneers is because they serve a lot of purpose to those who really want to learn how to use Tacticians. There's a good, like, skill ceiling to them, and that's something I can appreciate, even if I don't interact with it that much. Next up, Agents. Agents are... okay. Agents are such a cool idea for a subclass, being this, like, kind of fast redeploy. They give you DP in the early game. They give you some support aspects in the, give you some support elements in the later game when you do redeploy them. They're kind of cool. I don't know if they're not all meta slop. I think it's people who evaluate operators refuse to evaluate operators in fun and interesting ways and only evaluate things in, oh, this is a Vanguard, how quickly can it refund me? And, like, that's all they care about. They don't care about using them in cool ways. They care about getting all of their DP back as quickly as possible. That's all they care about. The thing is that I actually don't even mind Enos's design. I just think to me, I think Enos is cool design concept, horrible execution. Cool kit, nerf the fuck out of her, please. And so I like Agents. I think they're fine, and I like Puzzle. I use Puzzle more than I use Surfer. I do 100%. Do you not know how many stage elements Surfer, or do you not know how many stage elements Puzzle can farm DP off of? You have a stage element that is attackable but doesn't have like a hit point bar, so you just a Puzzle just farming DP off of it because it's always at full HP. Therefore, he's always getting 2 SP off of every attack. Puzzle can fucking farm sometimes. He could be crazy. The agents, I'll put A. No, again, the design is cool. I like the design idea, but it's not always executed on that. They're not, with the exception of Surfer and Enos, and kind of Chilchuck, they don't really play into their support role that much. They're just kind of le damage kind of thing, which is something I'm not a huge fan of. And so often they kind of act as though they're better chargers. Just not something I'm a huge fan of. Agents are poorly balanced, but even Enos isn't Slop. Slop users just see her as top of the tier list. I kind of agree with that. Maybe B. Again, it's like, do I really have fun with agents, or are they just good? You know what I mean? Are agents fun, or are they good? It's like, I think I have more fun using splash casters than I do with agents. I think I have more fun using like most of these operators in B tier than I do with, actually, you know what? I'm going to put splash casters in B+ tier. I think this whole time I've been like, okay, I'm not going to put them higher up because they do have some innate, there are some innate things with their subclass I'm not a huge fan of that they don't need to be there. But I think I'm slacking on them. I think I should be allowed to put them in B+ tier because I love splash casters. They're so much fun. I love splash casters. I think for you, I'd put agents in C, even if I personally wouldn't. I think I'm putting them in, I would put them in B. I'd put them in B. I'm gonna put them in B because I don't ever have fun with them. The most I have fun with them is Puzzle. Puzzle's the most fun agent. I only have like fucking shitty hot takes, don't I? Jesus. Puzzle, I like Puzzle. He's cool. He's probably my favorite agent. All of the other ones are, I mean, I do like Surfer, but the rest are just kind of, finally, Matsukiri. I fucking love strategists. Man, I love strategists. Who here loves strategists? Put your hand up if you love strategists. I love strategists. I think easy S tier. I fucking love strategists. They're such a cool, unique subclass. We have more classes in S tier than I do in A tier. Well, I did have to split A tier into 2 tiers actually, so I guess not that big of a deal. Matsukiri is legitimately such a well-designed operator. Him alone is me putting him in S tier. Strategists are such a well-designed subclass. I am so excited for future 5-star strategists. Oh, surprised it took us that long to get to a strategist. This was in the order that it is on the wiki. I can't wait till a second strategist comes out. I heard rumors they made one more, but it turned out to be false. So, listen. I'm gonna. Do you guys want me to be honest with you? I did talk about this like a few streams ago, but Silver Ash Alter is a soy star. He is designed for people who don't want to play the game. He's my guilty pleasure. I'm probably still gonna pull for him. He is a terribly designed operator, and he is designed for people who hate Arknights. I'm still gonna pull for him. I'm actually just gonna use him so I could use him with Crushers. I'm sorry. I'm building the cold team too, so like I spent $1. You better pull. I will. I fucking will. But that's it. I mean, I do have the CN only subclasses. I don't know if you want me to rate those because I don't know what to say. We do have, again, I don't really feel like I could actually rate a Primal Guard because they don't. Yeah. Are you gonna do the funny robot meme and play chords for 3DP? Fuck yeah, yeah, totally. Like, so okay, we have mercenaries. Do you have a CN account? If not, I wouldn't bother. Too bad. We're gonna do it for content. Mercenaries. They're kind of cool. You get to. They're like merchants, except easier to use. And so, D tier. We have Watchmen. Ooh, Crown Slayer song. I fucking love this song. Watchmen. S tier. They heal. And they fly. What else do you want? They can heal and block drones. Literally the greatest fucking subclass ever. Why would you want anything else? And then finally, the fuck, Sky Rangers? What the fuck are they? What the fuck even are these? What do you don't even know what this one's called? This one goes in B tier because I don't even remember what it's called. And that's the tier list. That's the tier list. Take a screenshot, send it to your favorite friend, and tell them that this is objectively correct. Skybreakers. I don't even know if that's true. I don't know if he's joking or not. You guys should know me. Show me how to harness. Guides me through the darkness. Little life, little arrow. I will leave you now, my sorrow. Sunlight be my armor. Infinity in this hour. I can't fucking sing while whispering. I can't sing, period. No, I'm not rating these. I don't fucking know what to do. It is true, and I guess if you remove their flight, they become land breakers. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, I'm not gonna rate you because I don't feel comfortable rating you. I never used you. The only one I feel like comfortable calling stupid is the Watchman. What the fuck is the point of this? Am I gonna do Paradox Sims now? No, it's 7 o'clock. If I do Paradox Sims now, I'm gonna be here all night. Maybe this weekend, maybe. That's a good idea for another tier list stream. I'll totally do that. But what the fuck is the point of Watchmen? The whole idea of Watchmen is they are medics that take off. That's their identity. Who thought of that? Like, I don't... What is the goal? They do have Abjure range, that is true. But, like, what's the thought process? Because... They'll make a stage with 100 drones that you need extra takeoff healing or something. I guess. I don't know. Why does this need to be its own subclass? Why didn't they just make Taxicum or whatever his name is? Why didn't they just make him a core medic that takes off? Because we have Lazy. She's a liberator that takes off. So why can't we just have a... Why can't we just have an op... Why can't we just have, like, a normal medic take off? Why can't we do that? Doesn't the only one who has this class give +1 block to take off? Yeah, he does something like that. Like, I don't get the point of him. It's like, he's supposed to synergize with takeoff units when there's, like, 4 of them. Year 7 is takeoff slop. It probably is. At least the elemental damage was kind of cool. I don't get what this is. It's like, do we need an entire subclass about taking off and doing damage in the air or taking off and healing? Why do we need that? Why not have a medic with camo invis? Because the part of this kit is synergizing with taken off operators. It's so weird. It's so weird. I don't understand. I don't understand Watchmen. Both of these subclasses are pointless, and they could have... The Skybox could have just been an artilleryman that takes off, and... Taxicum could have just been a core medic that takes off. They don't need to make it a new subclass. It's so stupid. It's dumb. It's just dumb. These 2 subclasses are stupid. I love new subclasses, but this ain't it, Chief. This ain't it, Chief. At least merchants are really fucking cool. I'm excited for merchants. But I think that'll be it for the stream today, guys. I think this is quite good. Is this a good tier list? You guys agree? Is this based in Epic Pilled? Do you agree? Do you disagree? If you want me to change any of the positions, or you have questions, please ask me right now. So I think this is just objectively correct. I don't really know if there are any. Did I mean mercenary? Did I not say mercenary? Did I say something else? I meant mercenary. Hello, chat. Did I miss everything? Oh, you missed the entire stream. Tacticians in front S, please. No, actually, I think strategist should probably be... Nah, I don't know if I'll put him higher. Nah. Think there is good. I think right there is good. For strategists. Trapmaster and Swordmaster too low. That's it. There's no other subclasses. We can't create more subclasses. Why did it auto convert to that? Because you're on Twitch. That's just how Twitch emotes work. But yeah, if that's it, chat. I'm sorry, PP Joker. You showed up at the worst time when the stream is over. Is there no way to turn it off? I don't know. I think Ambusher is too high. I like Ambushers being an S tier because I think they are just such a unique and fun subclass. Also, Earthshaker. Okay, cool. If you explain yourself, then I will consider it, but I don't know. Your next squad should have one of each from your S ranking. You say that like that isn't what I already do. You say that like that's not how I already play the game. This is exactly how I play the game, plus a single, plus Warfarin. That's literally just how I play the game. It's Quartz, it's Ock, it's Verdant, it's 5 Melanthas. Oh. Yeah, but yeah, that'll be it for today, guys. Thank you for showing up. It's been a nice little fun slop stream. It's nice. But yeah, bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye. I love you all. Thanks for showing up. And thanks for the new membership, too. Thanks, Mocha and Lavos for the membership. Very, very generous. Love you guys.